he's like the wrestler killer that moves like Machida. You kind of have one shot at it.
Live from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, Bellator MMA is back in the 212. This is Bellator 222 Prelims. And coming up later tonight on Dazn, it is the double main event. Rory McDonald putting the Bellator welterweight title on the line in the semifinals of the $1 million welterweight Grand Prix against the undefeated submission specialist, Neiman Gracie. And then in a battle of MMA legends, Brazil's Karate Kid Lyoto Machida meets the American gangster Chael Sonnen at light heavyweight. And we begin one of the deepest undercards in Bellator MMA history, and two guys getting their feet wet for the first time in the Bellator MMA pool. Middleweight action between Phil Haas and Michael Wilcox.
Both of the same height, a little bit longer reach for Phil Haas. The records are close. This is a very important fight for both fighters.
And now with the official introductions, the international voice of Bellator MMA, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, as Bellator 222 prelims begin now. We kick off the action inside the Bellator cage with 3 5-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing the blue corner first. At 5'11", weighing in 185.4 pounds. His professional record, 6 wins, 3 losses. Fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Michael the Cowboy Wilcox. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 186 pounds even. His professional record, 4 wins, 2 losses by way of Ridgefield. He fights out of Little Ferry, New Jersey, presenting Phil Zilla Haas. In charge of the action, your referee, Todd Anderson.
All right, here we go.
Ready, ready, hey!
Referee Todd Anderson calls for the bell as we begin this middleweight matchup. 3 5-minute rounds in the Bellator MMA cage. That's Phil Zilla Haas in the red gloves, and in the blue gloves, Michael the Cowboy Wilcox unloading that right hand. And John, they have met in the center of the cage, exchanging strikes, and now it's Wilcox pinning Haas against the fence.
Well, both guys come from a wrestling background, and I will tell you, Phil Haas was the guy that everyone was so sure was going to be the sure thing, the next thing. And he had some problems. You know, there's a big difference between what you do in a gym and what you do under the lights. And it's a matter of just that maturity in getting settled down and calm. And that's what we're looking for to see if he is that fighter now tonight.
30-year-old Haas, 4-2. All 4 victories inside the distance, 3 knockouts and a submission. 32-year-old Wilcox is 6-3 with 1 knockout and 4 submissions on his resume.
It's going to be very difficult. Wilcox does very good when he's on the ground in the top position, but he's going to have a hard time just trying to out-wrestle Phil to get him to the ground. He's going to have to do it through strikes and through confusing Phil in the fight.
Wilcox had not fought in 2 years when he received the call to fight here tonight. His brother was killed in a car accident on June 14th years ago, the day of his graduation. And so Wilcox taking this fight to honor his brother, and he's in a fight right now with Haas.
And that's a nice little teep kick. You keep on seeing this front kick by Phil Haas. It is hitting Wilcox in the abdomen, and you can see it's actually affecting him. It's stopping his motion, and he's actually taking steps back, which is telling you, I don't like that, that's hurting.
Oh, what a shot there, and down goes Wilcox. And into cross-side position is Haas.
That was a huge shot from Phil Haas. Wilcox got stunned. He was momentarily frozen from that shot.
And Wilcox back to his feet, but Phil Haas beginning to feel his striking. The jab to the midsection, that catapult right hand just misses.
Phil Haas kind of taking a chance there. He's listening to his corner. He's got Tiger Schulman in his corner, listening to him, let him up because they know that Michael Wilcox is still hurt. Just got stunned
with that right hand, and down goes Wilcox.
Trouble.
Hammer fist, and here's Haas taking Wilcox back, almost.
Find that ear, dodge the back of the head.
And now full mount achieved by Phil Haas.
Straight to the mount. That's a bad position when you got a big, strong guy like Phil Haas just holding on to the body, trying to gain some time, get his senses back, but this is a bad place for Michael Wilcox.
Yeah, Wilcox trying to control Haas' posture, but Haas just putting all of his weight now on. Well, old school can opener there by Haas momentarily, but yeah, Wilcox is just hanging on, hoping that referee Anderson will force a stand-up here.
That's not going to happen from this mount position.
No, exactly.
He is in a dominant position. Todd Anderson is a seasoned referee. He knows that, and unless Haas just decided to do nothing, he will never stand this up. He will let Haas work, and he will let him do damage.
And he has done just that. There's blood coming from Michael Wilcox. Can't really see where, John. Is it a cut over the left eye?
Yeah, you can see that his left eye it's got a giant hematoma on it. There's a cut over it too. He took that big shot, and his eye is swelling shut. The longer this fight goes on, the less sight he's going to be getting out of that eye.
Under a minute remaining in the first round. Phil Haas dominating Michael Wilcox. Haas, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, a Division I wrestler, junior college national champion at Iowa Central Community College.
Same community college that John Jones was junior national champion from.
And he has trained with the UFC light heavyweight champion. He's actually trained with a murderer's row of MMA fighters.
Well, he has, and that's the whole story behind Phil Haas, because everyone said, oh my God, this kid is a monster. He is so good, and he is. It's just that when he got under the bright lights, he tended to slow himself down and not do the things he was capable of, and that's what he needs to learn, is how to take that pressure, control it, and make it work for him.
Haas smothering Wilcox to close out a dominant opening round.
Up we go. Turn around. Turn around, let me see that eye. Okay.
No, you didn't. Let me explain to you.
That cut to his eyebrow, I believe, is from an accidental headbutt. They clashed coming in. If that ends on
It hurt him, but when you get down there.
That was a very big right hand. You saw as it hit, and that's the one that I believe, that right hand is the one that cut him. I hear referee Todd Anderson thinking there might have been a clash of heads. There was not. It was that right hand that did the damage to the left eye of Michael Wilcox.
You also heard a play-by-play announcer say that Wilcox was attempting to get a stand-up from full mount position, John.
Yes, you did. That's okay.
I think he was trying, but it wasn't going.
Let's go.
There's no doubt. You were right in what you were saying. It just wasn't going to happen.
Let's go.
How do you score? Well, here we go again, Captain Obvious. How do you score the opening 5 minutes?
Well, honestly, you look at that opening 5 minutes, and there's a lot of damage done to Michael Wilcox, and there was domination of the offensive action.
Do I hear that number coming?
That is a 10-8 round for Mr. Phil Haas. The real question here for the doctor is, can the fighter see? That's what he's looking for. He sees that they're swelling, but when you can't see that,
Listen. Can't see it. Stop. It was an accidental headbutt. Look at me. I need to check the video to see if it was accidental. Do you understand? All right, before we make a final decision,
right
I got to see the video.
Referee Todd Anderson is making a call saying he believes it was an accidental headbutt. It was not. It was a right hand.
I need to see the video to determine if it was an accidental or if it's a TKO. Thank you. Where's my video? On this side?
And right now, what Todd Anderson is doing is going to instant replay, looking to see, was it a legal action, that right hand that we're seeing right now, was it a legal action that caused the damage, or was it an illegal, although it was unintentional clash of heads would mean that that eye being shut, this could end up being a no contest.
And referee Anderson staring at one of the monitors, studying the replay. And again, instant replay, John, a long time coming in mixed martial arts.
They're going to show this again as that was not what hurt his eye. It was a right hand that ended up causing the damage to the eye. This fight should end right now as a TKO victory for Phil Hawes.
What about instant replay? Take us through what is happening here.
Well, what's happening right now? In the state of New York, the rule for the use of instant replay is if you have a fight-ending sequence, or you have decided the fight is over, but you're going to see was the damage that was caused to the fighter a legal action or an illegal action. You can use instant replay to verify your thought. Todd Anderson's first thought was this was a possible clash of heads, because they did have a clash of heads, but it was not that action that caused the damage to the fighter. It was a punch, a legal punch, right hand, and that is why he utilized the instant replay. He got the right information, and we're going to have a TKO victory for Phil Hawes.
So Phil Hawes improves to 5-2, all 5 of his fights finishing inside the distance as he picks up his 4th victory via form of a knockout, a nasty looking cut, and of course that eye swelling. And how about poor cowboy Donald Cerrone, where what a fight that was, and then to blow his nose this week. He admitted to it, right?
As everyone knows, but sometimes you're feeling something. There's the first hand that hurt Michael Wilcox. That's the one that blasted him. That was the right hand. This is the one.
Catapult right.
That right hand is the one that cuts his eye and causes the damage. You see their heads touch right there, and that's what Todd Anderson was looking at. But the damage was actually done by that legal right hand that Phil Hawes threw.
So what's the report card on Phil Hawes following this MMA display? We'll get that in a moment. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the ringside physician waves off the contest due to the damage done to the blue corner. Referee Todd Anderson verifies the damage caused by a legal strike. Therefore, the winner officially at 5 minutes, round number 1 by TKO, Phil Zilla Hawes.
John, quickly, what impressed you most about Phil Hawes?
I tell you what impressed me most was his ability to be calm in the fight, listen to his corner. When his corner said, get up, he got right up, let Michael Wilcox come back. That's what led to that second blow that put him into that mount position. He dominated the round.
All right, let's go to the fight desk. Jay, take it away.
Thank you, Morrow and Big John. Jay Glazer, along with the champ, Ali Malay McFarland, one of the hottest rising stars in all of mixed martial arts, and the punk, Josh Thompson. And Ali Malay, she is sitting here with us tonight. Normally, it is Chael P. Sutton, who is one of our headliners on the card tonight. So tonight, we have this, Ali Malay. Normally, we're stuck with this. Advantage Thompson Glazer in all of America. Welcome to the fight desk.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
We just gangstered the gangster.
We absolutely gangstered the gangster. Champ, great to have you up here again. Chael P going against Lyoto Machida. Chael P. Sonnen, he has a huge task on his hand tonight against the Dragon.
Absolutely, and I'm so excited for this matchup because it's a one-sided grudge match by 2 completely polarizing personalities. So I'm really excited to see how it plays out.
What's got me going really is it's a style of contrast. Basically, 2 guys. One is a stand-up guy, one is wrestling. This brings me back to the old school MMA days, and this is what I'm looking forward to tonight.
Hey, and guys, look, Chael's going against guy Lyoto Machida. Whenever he goes against a wrestler, he's almost a wrestler killer. When I talked to Chael this week, he goes, I know I can't just sit there and look at him in his range. I've got to make sure I smother him, pace. That's got to be it. You got to keep taking him down no matter what.
Absolutely, but talking to Lyoto earlier, he says if he ends up on his back, he's still going to keep attacking. He's going to attack no matter what.
I train with Lyoto. He's really good off of his back. He's actually good at getting back up to his feet. The one thing that other guys that have done and haven't been able to do against him is chain wrestle. So Chael's, that's his advantage in this whole thing, is his ability to chain wrestle from double leg to body lock to take down to drag him down. He's that next level of guy to do it.
Right, Lyoto Machida is a legend. He has beaten the biggest names in the history of this sport. Tonight he goes against one of the biggest mouths in the history of this sport, Elimele. I can't tell you enough how glad we are to have you sitting up here with us tonight. It is a gift to all of us. Thank you. With that, Moro, Big John, take it away.
All right, time for our second preliminary bout. Lightweight action, Marcus Surin and Nikruz Mirohayev.
Take a look at what is being done here by Surin. He is so good when he gets on top of his opponent. That's a tight arm triangle choke, puts his guy out, but his opponent is so good with his Greco-Roman wrestling. And this fight right here, that was the first loss by Pat Casey, doing a face crank, which is something you don't see a lot, and it shows the variety that he has. Take a look at this tail of tape and the real difference. Look at the age difference. Surin is a much older fighter. He's got more experience, but he's going to have a lot to deal with the Greco-Roman style of Mirohayev.
Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
For those watching around the world live on Dazn, we welcome you to the Mecca of combat sports, Madison Square Garden, where the Bellator 222 prelims continue now with 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'11", weighing in 154 pounds. His professional record 4-2. Originally from Tajikistan, he fights out of Brooklyn, New York, presenting Nikruz Mirohayev. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6 foot, weighing in 155.6 pounds. As a professional, 5 wins, just 1 defeat. From Stamford, Connecticut, he fights out of Spring Valley, New York, presenting Marcus, the Blueprint Surin. In charge of the action, your referee, Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald, third man in the ring as we get set for lightweight action.
Ready to fight? Ready to fight? Let's go.
Bell and round 1. Marcus, the Blueprint Surin in the red gloves. Nikruz Mirohayev in the blue gloves. Surin 5-1 with 2 knockouts and 2 submission victories. Mirohayev is 4-2 with 1 submission win. Surin, his 3rd fight in Bellator. He's 1-1 with a submission victory. And for Mirohayev, whoa, what a slam! Mirohayev looking to improve to 2-0 in Bellator MMA.
Mirohayev taking a huge risk in that type of takedown, throwing Surin over his head basically, but I'm telling you, this guy's Greco-Roman style of wrestling is so strong. He's very difficult to deal with in the clinch or on the ground when he's on top of it.
We just saw highlights of his Bellator debut at Bellator 216 in February of this year when he submitted Pat Casey via neck crank in the 3rd round. But look at the strength of Surin back on his feet, but he's getting his face cranked as well. And now Mirohayev,
he's got that armbar right now. He's a bad position for Marcus Surin.
In sports entertainment, I would have called that a Samoan drop, John.
Nice job to get himself out of that. Good work by Marcus. Back to his feet. This is the place he wants to be. He needs to be very careful in the way that he approaches his stand-up and not allowing Mirohayev to get into that clinch. That body lock takedown is something that he is outstanding with.
Mirohayev, a 4-time Tajikistan national Greco-Roman wrestling champion. Surin, a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from the Renzo Gracie Academy here in New York City. He was also a Division I wrestler at Clarion University, was a captain his senior year, and teammates with the likes of Frankie Edgar, former UFC champion, and now Surin being just out-muscled here by Mirohayev, John.
Well, the one thing at least that Surin's doing is he went to that leg and he's holding on to that leg, keeping himself in a position where he can attack Mirohayev.
Wants to run that pipe.
Yep. And it's funny, if you watch this, as Murkajayev was trying for the takedown, he was starting to eat some shots from Surin, and now, just in exchange, Surin gets to that takedown, and Murkajayev starts to look for those strikes.
Watch the groin.
Marcus Surin showing that he's got a very good wrestling too.
Good exchange.
Yes.
And they separate right hand through the guard by Surin. Overhand right by Mirojayev. Coming up on the final 2 minutes of the first frame. Southpaw Mirojayev missing with those shots, but they are standing in front of each other now, and Surin doing a good job of avoiding, or at least taking the mustard off of most of these shots, John.
Surin's starting to eat more shots as this is going on. You're seeing he's starting to back up now instead of lead that dance and coming forward. He's starting to give a little bit of ground, and I don't know if he's starting to get tired based upon all of the clinching exchanges we've been having.
Nice knee strike up the middle by Surin. Minute and a half remaining in the opening round.
Beautiful elbow by Surin inside. There's Murkajayev using that wizard. Sliding the leg across, getting the trip.
Right uppercut as Surin stands up. Again, looking for that double collar tie, the tie plum. Call it what you will, as Mirojayev level change, but unable to secure the single leg with 60 seconds now remaining in the first round.
Since they're both wrestlers, we'll call it a single collar tie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way they learned it. Bad positioning movement. He's going for the throw, loses his footing. Surin ends up on top.
And Surin now looking to achieve full mount, but Mirojayev from the bottom trying to actually look for a potential knee bar. Nope, back to his back.
No, you were right. He was looking towards that knee bar, and he starts to give his back. Not the way that you want to get to that knee bar.
Surin passes guard into side control.
Nice move.
Dropping elbows. North-south.
That underhook is helping Murkajayev get himself out, but a nice job of that head and arm right now. That's a simple, you're looking right now, Dave Schultz made a living off of that head and arm.
Stop. Clean break.
A lot of action in that first 5 minutes. John, who do you have ahead on your unofficial scorecard?
Boy, there was a lot of action. You're looking at both guys having moments where they were doing good. In the end, I think Marcus Surin got some of the better shots, even though he had that huge slam against him in the beginning. He was riding that out in the end. Great round. Here's where Murkajayev gets him up. Look at him set back. Beautiful job, but smart by Marcus. He feels it and he goes with it, which causes that over-rotation.
I thought he was going for the Antonio Inoki octopus hold there.
And this right here, hard position to get out of. Great job by Marcus Surin to be calm, take his time, and slowly move himself to a position to get out.
Did we mention that Surin is 12 years older than Mirojayev at 38? He started training MMA at 30, and yet acquitted himself well in that opening frame.
Outstanding job. I mean, a lot of exchanges and a lot of grueling work by both guys. They were pushing and pulling and doing a lot of energy burning.
Speaking of grueling work, Surin works a 56-hour week for an investment bank, competes in MMA because he loves it. This is round number 2. Surin in the red gloves, Mirojayev in the blue gloves. There are a couple of short uppercuts on the inside by Surin.
Nice little shot on the inside by Surin. Murkajayev needs to start seeing that every time that he starts to throw, Surin starts to duck his head to the right, does a little shoulder roll, but when you see that, you know where he's going to go the next time, start to set him up.
Out clinch, and Mirojayev put against the fence as Surin creating distance, trying to drive those knees into the midsection. He's fishing for a potential guillotine, wasn't there.
I need those punches to hurt this round, buddy. Cross face. Make him look to me. Yeah, just like this.
But Surin and the fence doing a good job of defending the takedowns of Mirojayev.
Yeah, you see right now, Murkajayev picking him up, lifting Surin up. That's it's a not the smartest way of going about things because you're burning a ton of energy, but if you need to get that guy down, but now you burned all that energy, he's got that back leg, he's got to keep him down and get this position to make all that energy burn worth it.
Fujii also recording some highlight reel slam takedowns in this fight.
And there's Surin back to his feet, so all of that lifting of that body and everything, you look and you go, was it worth it?
Waist lock being employed by Fujii.
And this is where Fujii is very good with this body lock. He's got a lot of nice little foot movements. He sweeps the foot out, he lifts the body, but that fence creates friction more, and when you have friction, you're lifting a whole lot more than this guy weighs at 145, 155 pounds.
3 minutes remaining in the second round. Fujii telling us that he can mix everything up. Felt good in camp. Says that all of Tajikistan is watching this fight tonight as he looks to improve to 2-0 in the Bellator MMA cage, while Surin hopes to improve to 2-1 under the Bellator banner. Reached the midway point of the round and the fight. Another takedown, and this time Fujii takes the back.
Fujii with a nice move, but Surin does exactly what he's supposed to.
Right uppercut on the inside.
Just outstanding technical fight by both guys.
Don't grab it.
Very impressed with the grappling ability as far as the wrestling of Marcus Surin. He may have wrestled a long time ago, man, he's still got it.
Yeah, and he just landed a couple of right hands and another right uppercut. And there's a right uppercut from Fujii as they exchange at close quarters under 2 minutes remaining here in round number 2.
Anytime that your head is being held down like Fujii's is right now, that burns energy because you've got weight on top of you and you're trying to actually get your head up. There's a big energy burn, so what Marcus is doing is smart.
Looking for that judo throw and using the wizard.
Wizard off of it. And look who ends up on top.
Surin again trying to maximize this position, looking to put the hooks in. Now it's got full mount on Fujii.
Fujii tried to roll through that. That was
posturing up, slashing elbow strikes. Oh, another nasty elbow strike by Marcus the Blueprint Surin.
Doesn't take a whole lot of those to change who you are as a person.
Final minute of the second round. Fujii trying to control Surin's posture. Surin breaking the grip, posturing up, and again delivering slicing elbow strikes.
Look at how high he is up on the chest area of Fujii. Surin is landing big, heavy elbows.
And they're not necessarily connecting the way he might like, but they're getting through.
Well, it's not only that they're getting, some are getting through, but even the ones that aren't, they are rattling his cage. Even though that glove is stopping it, it is still causing him a problem.
Well, it's ground and pound. Fujii now trying to utilize his feet to escape, trying to defend the best he can. The clock may in fact be Fujii's biggest ally.
It is absolutely his biggest ally right now.
Ground and pound from Surin. Fujii lives to see round 3.
Off guard.
Oh, that was on the pole. Step on your pole.
John, the score after round 2 on your unofficial scorecard.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of what happened here, because here's that transition. You see him cross-facing, pulls him over, wraps the leg to get the hook, and Fujii, he decides I'm going to roll through it, but Surin feels that, goes right to mount, and when he hits mount, he starts landing big punches and big elbows. A lot of these hit. A lot of them weren't powerful, but some of them were, and he did damage down here. You can see that Fujii has been feeling the results of those.
Stand up or I call it.
Right now, the score, and I have it. I have Marcus Surin up in this fight. I thought Murgazayev was winning that round until the end. I now have Marcus Surin up 2 rounds to nothing.
Round 3.
The belt, the third and final round as two gladiators touch gloves. It is Marcus the Blueprint Surin in the red gloves. Nikruz Mirojayev in the blue gloves. And again, Surin acquitting himself well in the clinch, using that single collar tie. Now the double collar tie creates separation, delivers the knee up the middle.
Good snap down to the head, pull him down. All of this very taxing, especially when you are a tired fighter.
Again, Mirojayev, 12 years the junior.
You wouldn't know it.
The 38-year-old Surin. And cardio and pushing the pace are the blueprint for Marcus Surin when we talk to him.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what he said. He goes, I'm going to out-grapple him. And you're looking going, that guy's a heck of a wrestler, man. You're going to out-grapple. Okay, well, he's proven his point. He has done just that.
Right hand to the body. Mirojayev just trying to wing some shots. There's an abrasion underneath his left eye. And finally, Mirojayev, I thought he was going to circle away from the fence, and fatigue and just the wearing down, the withering attack of Surin.
Yeah, and you could just take a look at his legs when he's standing. Look at when you're seeing him stand straight up and down. Skeletal structure is holding him up instead of muscular tension. Muscular tension is what you want to have because you don't want to then try to enhance that and bring it up. It's going to make you slow, but when you're tired, you start relegating yourself back to that skeletal structure, and that's what you're seeing right now from the Cruz.
Not just a fantastic analyst, but a terrific teacher as well. Big John McCarthy here as they continue. Surin just pinning Mirojayev along that fence, trying to feed him uppercuts and those slashing elbow strikes. There's another right uppercut that lands on the inside for Surin.
And you just look at all of the major shots that are being landed by Marcus Surin. He's the guy that's they're both landing at times, but when you look at the harder shots, it's always Surin being the guy that's delivering and not accepting.
Does this behoove Mirojayev, knowing this background, but also knowing what has happened in this fight, to continue to do this and expend the energy that is quickly decreasing?
Well, in my opinion, just looking at the fight the way it's going, still, I have Murgazayev is going to have to finish this fight. So if your best chance is to finish on the ground, well, then continue on going after that takedown. But if your best chance is to start winging shots, then start winging shots and stop burning energy going for a takedown that you have had a hard time once you got it there to continue to hold on to it and do any damage.
Elbow strikes by Surin, and yes, the tenacious Mirojayev continues to just stick to Surin like Velcro, but not able to obtain a dominant position. And now, thought that was going to be a double wrist lock attempt there by Surin.
I thought he was going to do the same thing, but he let go of it. Murgazayev right now, he's in that position, that body lock, and every fight I've seen him in, when he gets the body lock, he has a really great arsenal.
Oh,
here we go.
There's a beautiful
takedown from that position.
Modified German suplex by Mirojayev.
Going with a switch right here by Marcus Surin and putting pressure down on that shoulder. Right now they're in a stalemate position. Murgazayev has his hands around the waist. Now you see Surin lost that switch. That's why Murgazayev gets himself the position on top. Surin putting him in guard.
And despite the fact that this is Surin's only his 7th fight as we go into the final minute, he has definitely been a sparring partner for so many impressive fighters, including, as we mentioned, Frankie Edgar, one of the sport's best. 45 seconds now remaining. Close guard of Surin. Mirojayev needs a miracle.
Yeah, just not enough energy left by Nikruz to do anything effective against a guy like Marcus that has a very good guard, understands the position, understands how to slow guys down and keep them there. Just did pass, but you see that nice butterfly hook here, still threatening to change that position with a reversal.
Back to the close guard of Surin with the 15 seconds remaining in the fight.
10 seconds.
38-year-old Marcus Surin against the 26-year-old Nikruz Mirojayev. And we go to the scorecards in this lightweight attraction. John, you might as well put a button on it when it comes to your scorecard.
Look at it. There's no doubt in my mind who should win this fight. Marcus Surin went out there and absolutely did a beautiful job of out-techniquing a very good technician in the grappling game, getting the better positions, landing the bigger shots. Marcus Surin should be improving right now with another win on his side.
He didn't land one shot. It don't matter.
Surin immediately going to Mirojayev's corner, showing his sportsmanship and his appreciation for what was a tough battle, as Surin definitely embracing the grind and mixed up his attack, John.
He mixed it up very well. You take a look at what he did in the stand-up. Look in tight here in the clinch. Look at that beautiful uppercut thrown. Throws the shoulder back in. Nice little combo to start to end it off. There's the left hand, right hand, not a lot of power on it. They don't hit him hard, but at least they backed him off. But when he got to that mount position, some of these elbows that got through were strong. They hit him solid, that one right there. You can see when that fighter's head is flat on that canvas, you can see just that reverberation from that shot. Strong ground and pound by Marcus Surin.
We await the three judges at cage side, their verdict. As we are just beginning the proceedings, this is the second of 12 preliminary bouts coming your way here on the undercard of Bellator 222 at the Mecca of Combat Sports, Madison Square Garden, coming up at 10 o'clock Eastern.
Go, we gotta do it.
We will bring you the main card for Bellator 222. Let's now go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to your judges' scorecards for the decision. Your first judge at cage side, Timothy Corrado, scores the fight 30-27. Judge, and he sees the fight for Surin. Your second judge, Dave Torelli, scores the fight 29-27, seeing the fight for Mirojayev. Your third and final judge at cage side, Derek Cleary, scores the fight 29-27 for the winner by split decision, Marcus, the Blueprint Surin.
At the end of the day, Mr. McCarthy. At the end of the day, John, the judges, well, two of the judges got it right. Split decision win for Marcus Surin as he improves to 2-1.
Thank God two of them got it right.
All right, well, three people who always get it right are standing by at the fight desk.
Yeah.
You're too kind. Great prelim fight, stacked prelim card, top to bottom. Great card here tonight. And guys, tonight, our final fight, we'll have our next finalist for the welterweight Grand Prix tournament, Douglas Lima. We'll find out who he faces in the finals, whether it's Neiman Gracie or Rory McDonald. Champ, chime in on this.
I am personally invested in this tournament. I fought at Bellator Hawaii with Neiman Gracie. I fought in San Jose in April with Rory. And whoever wins tonight, they're going to face my name twin, Douglas Lima, on the other side of the bracket. So I'm personally and emotionally invested in this tournament. I can't wait to see the matchup.
Lima wants Rory McDonald in the finals. That's all he cares about. He wants redemption for the fight that they had before. Neiman's playing spoiler. I'm telling you right now, this whole tournament is great. Not to mention the 50 cent and the $1 million at the end of it.
Absolutely. And again, if Neiman Gracie does move on, he's going to have to beat Rory McDonald. With more on that matchup, Jen Brown, take it away.
Well, thanks, Jay. Hey, Neiman Gracie has been dreaming about becoming a champion since he was a child. He said it all started for him when he was like 5 years old, watching his cousin Royce Gracie fight at UFC 1. Tonight, he's looking to become a champ and then move on to defend that belt again. But here's the thing that's interesting. When he saw Royce fight, he said that he would go to school after that and make championships belts out of paper. Well, tonight, he looks to go from origami to gold. And as his dreams can maybe come true tonight, there's another Gracie, though, that has starting his own dreams and making his own step in MMA. And for more on that, let's head over to Morrow and Big John. Guys?
All right, thank you very much, Jen. The Gracie train has left Penn Station. Neiman Gracie's cousin, Robson Gracie Jr., about to compete for just the second time as a professional, John.
This was Robson's very first professional fight in Hawaii, and when he got to the ground, it was game over. He did some beautiful things. Look at the setup on that rear naked choke. Goes palm to palm. It is tight, gets the win. We know, based on his background, he's got an outstanding ground game. It's his stand-up game that he's always going to be questioned on.
A Gracie with an outstanding ground game? I am shocked, Sean. Shocked, I say.
1-0 for Robson Gracie with a pro debut for Oscar Vera. Everything else is almost identical.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA tonight from New York City now presents 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing the blue corner first at 6'1", weighing in 168.8 pounds. Tonight, he makes his professional MMA debut fighting out of the Bronx, New York, Oscar God of War Vera. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6'3", weighing in 168.6 pounds. As a professional early on, he stands at 1-0, fighting out of New York, presenting Robson Gracie Jr.
Yeah, baby.
In charge of the action, referee Blake Grice.
Blake Grice is your referee. We are set for welterweight competition here on the Bellator 222 prelims portion of the evening at Madison Square Garden. Robson Gracie Jr., 29 years of age.
All right, here we go. You ready? Ready? Fight!
In his second fight, he's in the red gloves. Oscar God of War Vera, making his professional debut, sports the blue gloves. And Vera from the Bronx. John, hoping that this Bronx tale has a happy ending for him in his professional MMA debut.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of confidence, and he's been very cocky around everybody during this week leading up to this fight. We're going to see what he does when someone actually puts hands on him. It's a question. He thinks that he's got Robson Gracie down, and that in the stand-up game, he has a big advantage.
Oh, Gracie coming forward, of course, trying to do his best to close that distance and get this fight to the canvas, although probably would like to show that, you know what, the Gracies are evolving as well in terms of the striking department. We've seen that in the gentleman who's going to be challenging Rory McDonald in the main event for the welterweight championship in the semifinals of the welterweight Grand Prix, Neiman Gracie.
We have seen incredible improvements in Neiman's stand-up game from the time that he started as Bellator fighter to the point he is now. He is a completely changed stand-up fighter. He used to just use that stand-up to try to get himself in tight. Now he's using that stand-up to set everything up, and if the takedown's there, he'll go for it.
Oh, and Gracie now, that's good position. Back up to his feet, the southpaw Vera. Bearing that jab inside low kick by Vera.
A lot of openings for both fighters here when you're seeing Vera take that, his right hand, he's pawing out and then taking and putting it up high. If Robson Gracie sees that, he can go after him with a variety of techniques. There's his cousin Royce watching closely, knowing all it's going to take is one good takedown, get on top, and start to do what we do to be successful here tonight.
Gracie momentarily seeking an outside trip. Vera content to just keep Gracie pinned to the fence. Double overhooks by Gracie, pummeling now.
Pummeling for that underhook. Now we're to that 50-50 neutral position. Even though his back's against the cage, it's a neutral position. The real question is now, taking a look, he's got it down.
Secures the takedown. There is Renzo Gracie.
In half guard, a lot of shoulder pressure right away. Look at that shoulder up on that jawline. That's what creates movement. You start to take that head, push it to the side where you want it to be, and start to create this opening like you're seeing with the legs. Now right to side control, knee on belly, into mount. It's a jiu-jitsu clinic, Moro.
Yes, it is, and he is receiving instructions from his trainer and his brother, Henzo, and Robson Gracie Jr. has Oscar Vera. Watch Vera looking to reverse, and now see belly down into the elbow. That's a tap, just like that. Robson Gracie Jr. picks up another submission victory. 2-0, 2 submissions. Would a Gracie fighter want it any other way?
And this is what you have, Moro, when you have that faith in your ground game. You don't have to worry. Just take your time. Let things happen. Look at the setup. Look at this beautiful pass to cycle right into a knee on belly, slides it to mount as he tries to buck him off. And then once he gets that position, he grapevines the leg. You see that position switch. You see Vera trying to get him off. Goes right to the arm bar. Beautiful technique. Look at the elevation of the hips. Outstanding submission win for Robson Gracie.
So a sign, perhaps, of things to come. You know, the Gracies would love this to be a night of celebrations. Neiman Gracie will be in the main event, challenging Rory McDonald for the welterweight championship.
You can see Henzo Gracie, Hobson's older brother, over the top and saying, look how easy this is.
I swear, I wish I was home watching at home.
One of the great ambassadors, great characters of MMA, Henzo Gracie. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Round number 1. The tap by way of an arm bar for the winner by submission. Still undefeated Robson Gracie Jr.
Robson Gracie Jr., a perfect 2-0 to begin his professional mixed martial arts career. And guys, the Gracie name alive and well in 2019.
Certainly is, Martin. Again, later on tonight, we will see another Gracie in Neiman Gracie. We start our main card of the evening with a title fight. We have Horiguchi against Caldwell. They already fought over in Japan. Horiguchi won that. Caldwell very confident that the outcome will be much different tonight. Josh Willett.
I had a nemesis in Gilbert Melendez. We fought 3 times. I beat him and destroyed him the first fight. The second time I came in overconfident and he came with a better game plan and he ended up getting me in that second time. So that could happen here with Horiguchi. He's thinking, oh, the submission's there all day long. I keep chasing and chasing it. The problem is, though, in a 5-round fight, as it gets sweatier and the fight carries on, you start to lose those opportunities when they come, especially in the guillotine position where he was able to get this win right here against Caldwell. Now, Caldwell, though, he has all the ability to go ahead and take this fight anywhere he wants because of his wrestling pedigree. The problem with him, though, as the fight goes on, because the elephant in the room with him is that he potentially cuts too much weight. So as the fight goes on, he tends to kind of get a little bit slower and he makes mistakes like he did in Japan.
Absolutely, but I am excited. I think the biggest factor in their first meeting was the ring versus the cage. So I'm excited to see Caldwell perform here at Madison Square Garden inside a cage versus a ring. I've been to Saitama Arena. I know that it's a completely different atmosphere versus over here. So I'm really excited to see Darian where he feels comfortable.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot going into that fight. It's going to be interesting if he is overconfident or just confident enough to make sure he retains his belt. Hey, with that, send it back cage side. Let the prelims roll on, Moro.
All right, Jay, and speaking of the bantamweight division, that is what is happening right now here at MSG as we take a look at the flashback.
This is old Hector Lombard when he was the middleweight champ. Look at that shot. He's out. That was the fastest knockout for a long time here at Bellator. And then we had this. Look at that kick. That was in Italy. Beautiful shot. That tied the record.
Michele Martignoni.
So we might as well get one more. Here comes Michael Kimball. Boom, and he ends that fight. We have 3 guys tied at a 6-second knockout in Bellator.
And you know what they say, John, these kind of things happen in threes. 3 fighters in Bellator with the record for fastest KO, 6 seconds. And how does the tail of the tape speak to you, sir?
Well, everything is, as we said, virtually identical, but the one thing I want you to see is Michael Kimball did not make weight. He was 0.6 over. He did not make weight. That is a bad thing to happen.
All right, let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Garden, Bellator MMA 222, the prelims live on Dazn continue in the bantamweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 5'9", weighing in 135.6 pounds. His professional record 2-2. Originally from Lima, Peru, he fights out of Newark, New Jersey. Sebastian El Gallo Ruiz. El Gallo. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'9", weighing in 136.6 pounds as a professional. 2 wins, 1 loss from Waterbury, Connecticut. He fights out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, presenting by the Savage Kimball. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Mike Beltran.
Mike Beltran oversees the action in this bantamweight bout.
All right, gentlemen, first round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Head, let's go.
The bell in round number 1, Mike the Savage Kimball in the red gloves, Sebastian Ruiz in the blue gloves. Kimball looking to rebound from his first professional MMA loss, falling to John Duma via first-round triangle choke at Bellator 215 this past February.
And in that situation, you know, you had Mike Kimball having 2 fights in Bellator where everything went his way, and he is a very good athlete. He's a fast twitch fighter, man. He's got speed.
Yeah, he's fast, period, competing in track and cross country in high school. So he's got speed, he's got endurance.
Yes, he does. But you've got to maintain a concentration in the fight.
He just hurt Kimball lighting up Ruiz early.
He's hurt.
Ruiz clinching, trying to regain his faculties here.
Smart job by Ruiz. Keep that clinch, get into the cage, get your wits about you. There is no time in the cage that you can mentally lapse and let things go, and that's what happened with Mike Kimball against John Duma.
Whoa.
How did that happen?
Okay.
Low blow.
Ahí quédate. Cuando te toque, no lo agarres, ¿me entiendes? Ponte para allá. Tienes tiempo, ¿me entiendes? Okay, you got time.
Oh,
there's a nice shot inside, right where it was not supposed to go, and that's why you see Kimball now giving reaction. That's why referee Mike Beltran has called a halt to the action. That was a solid shot.
Okay.
Mike Beltran gives just a little bit of a shove, and the lightweight fighter, bantamweight fighter, ends up going down.
Keep it clean, okay, guys? Ready? Fight!
Kimball not taking much of the allotted 5 minutes to recover. Oh, there's a left head kick, partially blocked by Kimball.
Nice right hand by Kimball. One of the things that you notice is Beltran did not put them back in the same position. Since it was Ruiz who was controlling that position, he lost the position based upon that foul.
Inside low kick by Kimball. Marching forward, Ruiz forced to fight off his, well, he's on his front foot now and pumps the jab, but backing up. Kimball needs to cut him off. There's the front kick to the midsection. Outside low kick by Ruiz.
And this is what you want to see out of Mike Kimball, though. He is going after his opponent, but he's remaining composed. He's landed some big shots. He's had some bad moments when, you know, he got fouled, but he hasn't let that take over. He hasn't gotten mad. Just go back to your game plan, go back to what you're doing.
Kimball just missed with the right cross. Under 3 minutes remaining here in the opening round. And Kimball feinting, not really cutting off Ruiz as Ruiz looks to cut out the legs from underneath Kimball.
Not a bad idea by Sebastian. Let me take those legs, let me slow you down, let me chop it out.
And that's what Kimball does now.
Exactly. Little return back
to the lead leg of Kimball.
Sometimes when you're facing a guy like Sebastian is facing in Mike Kimball, a really good athlete, you've got to say, it's okay to take my time. I don't have to sit there and try to get rid of him right away. That's not going to work.
Kimball is allowing Ruiz to eat up real estate, John.
Yes, he is. You see that Ruiz is actually utilizing that lateral movement, which you see Kimball is not cutting it off. He's following it. And when you're following it, it's telling you you're not doing the right thing. I want to cut that movement off so he doesn't have the ability to just go wherever he wants.
And Ruiz well on his way to getting those recommended 10,000 steps here in round one.
But you know, a smart game plan by Sebastian
very
Ruiz.
much.
You do not want to just stand in front of a guy that's a fast guy that's a good athlete like Kimball.
Right hand there from Ruiz that Kimball ate well, and in fact came back with a 1-2 through the guard of Ruiz.
Yeah, that shot that Ruiz threw, it looked good. It was looping over the top. It was more of a slap.
Yes, you heard that
off
slap.
to the side.
Minute and a half remaining in the first round. And again, the constant lateral movement of Ruiz, not allowing Kimball to set his rhythm.
Yeah, Kimball needs to start taking that left leg and stepping off and cutting off the direction that Sebastian's able to move willingly when he wants. Don't let him have that.
Kimball, just 22 years of age. This is his fourth professional fight. Looking to come back from his first loss as a fighter. Began training MMA at the age of 13. Made his pro MMA and Bellator debut in February of last year at Bellator 194 when he stopped Jeffrey then via first-round TKO. And he even told us that in MMA, it's never necessarily who's better, but who can capitalize on another's mistakes and stay disciplined. He is staying disciplined.
Absolutely, and there's so little difference between the top guys and that next level, and it's about maintaining a composure, mentally being strong.
Right hand there by Kimball that misses that left kick blocked.
And I would tell Sebastian Ruiz, look at,
there's a blast double by Kimball. Time now running out the first round, but Kimball looking for the finish. And Ruiz back up to his feet.
He's going.
What a jab to end the round. So some frenetic activity in the closing seconds of that first frame. John, how do you score it?
All right, now in that round, I got Mike Kimball taking that round 10-9. But I thought Sebastian Ruiz did a lot of good things. And one of the things, if I'm his coach, he does have a good kicking game, and his high kick is good. It's okay if that kick is being blocked by Michael Kimball, because that arm is going to start to feel the effects of it, so keep on doing it.
I want to see a little bit.
Watch this sequence here. Nice left jab by Kimball. Right hand, right on the edge of the chin. Doesn't have a lot of power to it just based upon body position, but he follows it up with those 3 shots, all of them connecting. That was a nice sequence by Mike Kimball. Here's that blast double, just like Brock Lesnar used to do. But good job by Ruiz to not accept it and go after him. Don't accept the position. Don't let things just be. Make things happen.
Our pro wrestling references will become a drinking game by the end of this evening as we continue with this bantamweight bout. Although you're right, Brock Lesnar was a standout NCAA wrestling champion, former UFC heavyweight champion.
MMA, let me tell you something. Brock Lesnar had a devastating
All right, gentlemen,
blast
second
double.
round. Ready to fight. Ready to fight. Handle, let's go.
Bell in round 2. Mike Kimball in the red gloves, Sebastian Ruiz in the blue gloves. Bantamweight division action again. We will kick off the main card of Bellator 222 coming up at 10 o'clock Eastern on Dazn from the Mecca of combat sports, Madison Square Garden, with a Bellator Bantamweight Championship bout between title holder Darion Caldwell and Rizin Bantamweight champion Kyoji Horiguchi, who beat Caldwell to become the first Rizin Bantamweight champ New Year's Eve in Japan, but the Rizin title will not be on the line to kick things off for Bellator 222.
No, it will not. And there's so many variances between the two places where the fights are taking place, as far as the Saitama Arena, in a cage, in a ring, all the differences. There's a lot going on with this fight.
And not so much going on here in round 2 as they both go for low kicks. And again, though, same formula for Ruiz. And you would have thought, and we did not hear the corner of Kimball, but he has to start cutting off the cage here and getting closer.
Yeah, there's a marked difference in following your opponent or cutting off that movement. And you've got to create that where the fighter doesn't feel like they can get to where they want, so they just stop doing it. And that puts him in front of you, and that opens up your game.
Ruiz whipped a low, inside low kick to the lead leg of Kimball, but again, just backing up and moving to his right. Constant movement to his right, and Kimball is allowing him, he's not making him pay a toll.
Well, it's exactly it. If you're gonna have this guy moving, well, I gotta start hitting that left hand. And look, at the reason Ruiz is moving off is he knows Kimball has a very strong right hand. He's moving away from that power. That's a smart game plan. And he's also moving Kimball into his power, which is his right hand. Again, as you're saying, Kimball following here. He really needs to start stepping off to the left with that left leg, cutting off that position, making Ruiz have to figure out a new route.
When we asked Ruiz what his strengths were, he said his kicking and his durability. We've seen him show off the kicks, and you can see the color, the discoloration on the inside, the thigh of Kimball, and another low blow. And Kimball's saying, come on, bro.
After you've been hit to the groin area once, that's enough. After two, it's like, well, come on. You can't blame it. Now, I don't know if that one might be based upon both fighters actually moving, and Ruiz is actually throwing a good kick, but Kimball almost puts himself into it.
You good? All right.
Little bit, and that's not, when we do that inside leg kick, it is so close all the time to sliding up and hitting that groin area. That was actually a well-targeted kick by Ruiz. It may have gone up, but it wasn't. There was nothing intentional.
Kimball's also been working with Adam Borch, who we will see coming up later on this, one of the deepest undercards in Bellator MMA history. He faces Erin Pico. Pico coming off another loss, now 4-2 in his much-hyped career, but making the move to Jackson Wink MMA. We'll see what new wrinkles he's added to his game, but boy, he faces another incredibly stout test against the undefeated Adam Borch.
You know, when you're talking about guys coming into the world of MMA and who they're facing, you look at, you know, Erin Pico from the start. You know, he had his first fight here at Madison Square Garden, and it was that loss, and everyone said, oh, he's not as good as you were all going to make him out to be. Look at, he is that good. He's a young man, and he's got things to learn in this.
Oh, well,
there's a.
I guess karma just caught up with Sebastian Ruiz.
There's a get you back.
Nutcracker's not playing on Broadway, right? It's not that time of year.
Here we can see that foot comes up. It just slides across. He does bring it up. It slides across, and that's what it was. It's, again, not intentional. He's looking.
Outside. Okay, hey, Mike.
On further
Come here, both you two. Ven acá los dos. No quiero usted, but I don't want any problems, okay? You guys keep it clean. All right, gentlemen, shake hands. Let's keep this thing clean. All right, ready? Fight!
So the most offense we've seen really has been illegal. well, now they're mixing it up.
The most telling offense.
Yes. And now the sense of urgency kicking in, and even with Ruiz. That's what it took to flick the switch.
Yeah, well, both guys actually starting to sit down and throw with a lot more power right now, too. They're not just trying to touch each other, they're trying to hurt each other.
Outside low kick by Kimball, trying to slow down the lateral movement of Ruiz, and yet he is continuing to allow Ruiz to circle to Ruiz's right. Ruiz with that windmill misses badly. A minute remaining in the second round.
And one of the things that Kimball can really, off of this fight, man, he needs to go back and look, and if there's anything he can pick up from Sebastian Ruiz, do not go straight back when you're being attacked. Use that lateral movement.
And Kimball was able to pop Ruiz's head back like that proverbial Pez dispense with the jab. Would like to see more of the stick.
And everything in fighting is about your ability to move your body. Your footwork puts you in position for your weapons to be effective. That's what Mike Kimball needs to think about when he's looking at cutting this off. You cut that angle off and you throw that left hand out there, touching him on the chin. He will stop moving in that direction.
Both fighters have 2 wins, 2 knockouts. And now they're headed to round 3, and Ruiz just missing. Ruiz taunting Kimball, and Kimball makes him pay.
Yeah, he cuffed him a little bit there.
How do you have it going into the final round?
In that round, look at it, even with that last exchange, the better shots overall are being landed with the heavier shots by Mike Kimball. It's not that Ruiz is not landing at times, but the better shots are by Kimball. So right now I have Kimball ahead 2 rounds to nothing.
I know, but use your feet. Let your feet do the work. Some good level changes, some in and out, some takes and feints. Enjoy that motherfucker out. Okay?
No baje la mano.
Finish this combination.
Esto te da la cara para el
You
paterno.
understand me?
No haga eso. Bien. No, te tiene que noquear. Mouthpiece in. Mouthpiece, Mikey. Hey, keep it clean. You understand? Keep it clean. Kick them in the, keep it clean. All right? Ponte para allá.
Referee Mike Beltran admonishing both fighters, instructing them to keep it clean after they exchanged shots to the nether region.
Final round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Head up, go.
The belt, round 3, and there we go. Good sportsmanship and embrace, and you know that Kimball would like to embrace him in a different way as this round begins. Both of them staying at distance. And Kimball's also worked at London Shoot Fighters, John, and has been, well, getting advice from none other than MVP Michael Venom Page.
Well, what he's doing is, you know, Mike was kind of like the big fish in the small pond where he was from in Connecticut, and he's starting to branch out and become that little tiny fish in the big pond because there's so much knowledge out there for him.
Nice right hand lands for Ruiz.
Just listening to his coach. No, that's... Greg Jones in the corner of Mike Kimball said exactly what he should have said. He says, Mike, you need to use your feet. You need footwork here. You need to cut him off. You need to use your feet to get inside and land that left hand. Everything that he needs to hear, he has been told.
Ruiz just throwing from
too
way
far
out of
away.
range.
Exactly. You know, and this is where a lot of people, well, you know, they'll get into punch stats and things like this. It's like, you know, that's air shots. That's nothing. That's not doing anything. They've never had a chance of landing. He's got to step forward.
And he's done some damage to the lead leg of Kimball, but not, you know, he says kicks are his major strength. He's got to get busier trying to slow down Kimball, maybe close the distance, but now Kimball attacking the lead leg with an inside low kick.
And what you're
seeing from Ruiz.
What you're seeing with Ruiz is he's attacking Kimball without throwing any kind of feint, anything to set it up, so Kimball's able to see everything that's coming at him. Look at that movement. Just able to step right back from it, never touches it. Again,
way out of range. And Kimball yet, I mean, what should Kimball be doing? Because honestly, John, he's just following him around.
It's exactly it, and it's the footwork. He's starting to become dead on his feet. Look at his, he's not moving a lot. He's on his toes, but he's walking forward. You've got to create that positional change. You've got to force that angle by the use of your legs to put your body in position to land with your hands, your elbows, your knees, or your feet. I think Kimball...
Oh, there's a nice one, too, but between the guard for Mike Kimball. And Ruiz saying, bring it, bring it.
Yeah, well, he's
cut
saying,
him up.
Bring it, but Kimball knows I have the ability to touch you, and you really can't touch me again.
Right hand busted, may have busted Ruiz's nose.
Oh, it's looking good right now. And again, Ruiz throwing a big looping right hand that Kimball sees all day long.
And landing on the shoulder, arm punch.
See, right there, that's the counter that Kimball should be landing. Kimball should be seeing that big hand coming, and when it's coming, don't just get out of the way.
Kimball has to maximize the damage he has done to Ruiz and take some risks, John. Put some combinations together.
Well, it's the whole thing. Do you want to win the fight? Yes. Do you want to finish the fight? There is a difference. You finishing is different than you just winning.
None of his fights have gone the distance. 2 wins via Foreman knockout, the loss via submission. And again, maybe coming off his first loss, still very little conservative.
Yep. Don't, because you made the mistake, don't want to make another mistake. But you got to open up and go after him. When you hurt somebody, go after him. Don't do it in a wild fashion, but go after him.
Again, Kimball able to stick the jab. Ruiz backing up.
And you can see Kimball reads everything. Ruiz is showing, he's telling. He's giving a tell on every time he's going to throw, and Kimball just reads it easily. But if you're reading it that easily, use it to your advantage. Let him throw it and counter it with a big shot.
Under a minute remaining in the fight. Bantamweight division. Mike the Savage Kimball, 22 years of age, 2-1. Sebastian Ruiz, he is 21 years of age. He is 2-2 in his professional MMA career. So 2 prospects beginning their respective careers. And with 30 seconds left, it looks very much like this one will be going to the judges' scorecards.
Mike Kimball just complained about having blood spit at him, and that's because Ruiz cannot breathe out of his nose. He's breathing heavy out of his mouth. That's not on purpose. Art of fighting.
Oh, a flashy attempt at a finish there by Kimball. Ruiz looking for the takedown, but time runs out.
Both guys climbed the fence like,
well,
that fight.
I guess they had a lot of energy left there,
yeah,
John.
well, and that's the problem, because if you have that much energy, you didn't do enough in the fight.
Well, Kimball did do damage to Ruiz's face, and we'll be able to see the highlights here, John.
Look at the shots here. Here comes that big right hand right down the pipe. That was a big shot that Ruiz ate, and the big difference in this was the speed. Kimball was able to utilize his speed to an advantage of, he used it defensively. When Ruiz would throw shots, he was getting out of the way. But again, you don't want to be the guy that just gets out of the way. That's good, but I want to use that person's lack of offensive ability to an offensive counter that's going to get them out of this fight.
I wish you the best in your journey, okay? I wish you the best in your journey, yeah? Yes, you. 20, yeah? You, future champion.
And there's the martial arts in mixed martial arts.
I promise.
Kimball wishing Ruiz the best on his journey. And that's what the martial arts experience is. It is a journey, John.
It is definitely a journey. And look, there's so much that goes with it. And you have got to, no matter what, I don't care if you like your opponent or not, you have to respect the guy that steps in that cage and stands across from him.
Is he this? Is he that good? Athleticism. That's skill, patience, composure, all in one. No athleticism. Skill, patience, composure. Sharp shots.
Skill, patience, composure.
Respect that, please.
Duly noted.
Jones, get your ass in the face.
We saw patience and composure. We saw skill. Maybe you would have liked to have seen a little more of the skills and the patience and composure, John. But hey, still very early in his career.
That's exactly what it is.
Let's
go. You're a young fighter.
Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first judge, Christopher Lee, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Ruiz. Your second judge, Marcel Varela, scores the fight 30-27. He sees the fight for Kimball. Your third and final judge at cage side, Timothy Corrado, scores the fight 30-27. Having it for the winner by split decision, Mike the Savage Kimball.
I hope this is not a pattern we begin to see develop here tonight. We've seen it a couple times. The right guy wins, Mike Kimball, but scores were all over the place.
Well, I don't know what happened in this one. I can tell you what happened in the last one because I asked, and what truly happened was one of the judges had the fighter in the blue corner on his red card. He wrote it wrong. He actually was giving the fight to the other fighter, but the commission wouldn't let him change when he realized the mistake because they knew that the fight had already gone his way. So That one, I don't understand.
Coming up, 10 o'clock Eastern on Dazn, Bellator 222 main event, welterweight World Grand Prix semifinals. The winner will face Douglas Lima in the final. The welterweight champion Rory McDonald putting his title on the line against the undefeated submission specialist Neiman Gracie. And then in light heavyweight action, former UFC light heavyweight champion Lyoto Machida taking on Chael Sonnen, who at 42 says his journey is far from over.
Look at the rest of this card, though. Dylan Dennis going after his second win, but Ricky Bandejas against Patrick Mix. That is my fight of the night, I believe. That one or the next one is going to be it, because Eduardo Dantas, the two-time champion against Juan Archuleta, is fantastic. And then you have that cross-promotion, Darian Caldwell against Koji Horiguchi. What a matchup this is. Horiguchi has been an incredible fighter since his last loss against Demetrius Johnson.
12 consecutive wins for Horiguchi. He is the rising bantamweight champion, but tonight it's Caldwell's bantamweight title up for grabs as Caldwell looks for revenge. As we go to the tail of the tape for our next prelim bout here at Bellator 222.
Both of these guys have a lot of experience, a lot of age with that experience, but both of them are very good fighters. Hayam Ghazali is a ground specialist.
It's a catchweight fight. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage live on Dazn we go. 3 5-minute rounds at 180 pounds. Introducing the blue corner first at 5'8", weighing in 176 pounds even. The veteran brings a professional record of 22-22 by way of Curitiba, Brazil. He fights out of Brooklyn, New York, Gustavo Showman Wurlitzer. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 178 pounds even. As a professional, 10 wins, 6 losses, fighting out of Bat Yam, Israel. Introducing the Israeli Batman, Hayam Ghazali. In charge of the action, referee Dan Mergliata.
Good. All right, you ready, buddy? You ready, sir? Let's go, fight.
Referee Dan Mergliata calls for the bell. Hayam Ghazali, 46 years of age, 10-6. He's 2-3 in Bellator. He's in the red gloves. Gustavo Wurlitzer, 36. And he is 22-22 with one no contest, John.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fights, and look at, he started off as a Muay Thai fighter, fighting out of the famed Shoot Box Academy with guys like Anderson Silva, Vanderlei Silva, Jose Pele, Lanny Johns. Those were his training partners. He has got a good stand-up game, but he was always getting beat by grapplers. Ended up learning how to grapple, getting his jiu-jitsu black belt, but in facing Hayam Ghazali, he wants to keep this fight on his feet because Hayam is special when he gets to the ground.
And Wurlitzer looking to use his feet to be fuddled. Ghazali off his feet momentarily. Now Wurlitzer into the half butterfly guard, now the full guard employed by Ghazali. Ghazali and his 18-year-old son, Aviv, both fought at Bellator 209 in Israel. The first time father and son have competed together at a Bellator MMA event, and dare I say, it's rare in the history of the sport.
Very rare as far as, fighting on the same night. I've had a lot of guys that I refereed as the father and then refereed their sons, not on the same night. And I will say that Hayam's son, Aviv, is a very talented ground grappler.
High guard in here now. Ghazali, all 10 of his wins have come via first-round knockout or submission. 7 of his 10 wins via submission.
Gustavo trying to gain some posture in this. You see Hayam moving his hips, controlling that posture, not doing anything offensive towards him right now, but just breaking down what Gustavo can do. You see him with the grapevine, the legs right here. That's pulling Gustavo's hips down, makes it to where he has no power if he throws strikes. All of it is good defensive guards game by Hayam Ghazali, but he needs to think about becoming offensive.
Ghazali, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Renzo Gracie.
Halfway done.
And yes, we are at the midpoint of the first round.
Starting to work that guard a little bit higher. You see him utilizing that cage. He's going to go for that arm right now. You see Wurlitzer going, he's locking it in. Figure four in that arm, holding on to it. But that will not stop someone that knows how to push that arm free. Ghazali is smart enough and good enough. He knows what to do, going right to a triangle choke. He is in trouble right now.
Ghazali employing the triangle choke on Wurlitzer. Ghazali looking for his 11th first-round finish. All of his wins have come within the first 5 minutes of a fight.
You see that Wurlitzer's arm is all the way across. That's a bad position for it to be. All Hayam needs to do is pull down on that head.
That's exactly what he's doing. A minute and a half remaining in the round.
I don't see that Hayam is actually committing towards squeezing on that choke with everything he has. He's still working towards that armbar, Morrow. He wants to change the angle of this. Right now, this triangle being straight ahead, he can't create the same.
And there's the tap, and Hayam Ghazali picks up his 8th submission win. He improves to 11-6, all 11 fights finished in, or 11 wins finished in the first round. And Wurlitzer, with all of those fights, falls below the 500 mark.
You can see the hip movement by Hayam Ghazali, setting up, going for that arm, making Wurlitzer try to protect the arm. And when you're protecting the arm, I'm locking up the triangle. He gets that triangle, and he has that right arm all the way across. These little elbows aren't doing much damage, but the only difference is that arm is not, it's not low on the neck, it's a little high, and that's what's allowing Wurlitzer to survive as long as he does until he gets that finish by squeezing down on the head.
Here in Gotham, Batman prevails. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Okay, gentlemen, in the center, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the triangle choke brings on the tap officially. 4 minutes, 2 seconds. Round number 1, the winner by submission, the Israeli Batman, Hayam Ghazali.
And his trainer, Renzo Gracie, will be happy with that submission triumph for Hayam Ghazali, 46 years young. Let's go back to the fight desk.
All right, thanks, Maura. Again, huge card tonight. We have champions on the card. We have championship fights on the card. We have big-time talkers on the card, and Chael Sonnen, and also Dillon Danis. We've seen Dillon Danis here at Madison Square Garden have issues here. Conor McGregor's team, Khabib Nurmagomedov, jumped out of the cage to fight him at that fight as well, and he finally makes his return to MMA. He has a big mouth, but at least jiu-jitsu-wise, he is legit. He could back it up.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen Dillon prove himself on the biggest stages in jiu-jitsu, but can he prove himself in the cage? Because it's a different ballgame. And against an opponent, Max Humphreys, who is relatively unknown, but he actually has a much more extensive amateur career and pro career than Dillon. So he has a lot more cage experience. We'll see how Dillon will match up against him.
To touch on what you were just saying, you are correct. But the one thing that this Max Humphrey doesn't have is the high level of competition. Whether it's jiu-jitsu or it's fighting or in a cage or anywhere else, the level of jiu-jitsu that he's been competing against is the highest level of all time. There's no other higher level than this. So the fact is, all he's got to do is just get in there, get the easy takedown. This fight could be over within 30 seconds.
Well, look, last time we saw Dillon Danis in there, it was his first, like you just said, that was his first fight in Bellator. It's a different set of nerves. Even though Dillon Danis, he is coached Conor McGregor. He's been on big stages with him. It's completely different when you step in there. He's had a long layoff. Does he have to go back and kind of re-get the rust out again, Josh?
No, what he needs to do is make sure he didn't do it as what he did his last fight, thinking that he was a stand-up fighter. He thought for 2 seconds he was won, he got cracked, and he ended up getting the takedown, making sure that he doesn't forget who he is in that cage.
Absolutely. I think he needs to find his identity, and don't forget, again, his jiu-jitsu background. He's a jiu-jitsu specialist. Just stick to your guns. He'll be fine.
Hey, what makes Dillon Danis so dangerous on the ground?
He goes for crazy stuff. He's unorthodox. He goes for Imanari. He'll roll for an Imanari in the middle of the cage like his last fight. So I just think he's going to probably throw Max Humphreys off, and as long as Max can keep it off the ground, he might have a chance.
Really what makes him dangerous is the fact that she said he'll roll for an Imanari roll, but he's someone that'll jump guard, he's someone that'll jump flying triangle, he's someone that'll roll to leg locks. He doesn't care. So in that position, he's very comfortable on the ground. He understands anytime this fight is getting closer, anytime he's in jeopardy, all he's got to do is shoot a desperation double and try to pull you down, give himself time to recover.
Good. He is later on tonight. It's Dillon Danis facing off against Max Humphreys, and I know you guys aren't huge fans of each other, and we are going to get to that later on in the evening.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. Trust me, folks, you don't want to miss this. Moro, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Jay. The first of our 2 cross-promotion fights here tonight. And yes, one of Japan's top stars, Rena Kubota, representing Rizin, takes on Bellator's Lindsay Van Zandt. And this fight is going to be contested at 112 pounds, John.
Both these girls are small girls in stature, but huge in skill. I cannot wait for this fight.
Here's Michael C. Williams. And we are awaiting the entrance of Rena Kubota, who is 7-2 in Rizin. This will be Kubota's first fight in a cage, John.
You know, that can make a difference, but the one thing that Rena Kubota is known for is her footwork, her speed, and her movement, and the cage is only going to give her more area to move within.
Take 2. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA live on Dazn from Madison Square Garden. Here we go now inside the Bellator cage at 112 pounds. Set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 5'2", weighing in 111.4 pounds. Her professional record, 5 wins, 1 loss. Fighting out of Poughkeepsie, New York. Introducing Lindsay Van Zandt. And across the cage, her adversary, out of the red corner, at 5'2", weighing in 111.2 pounds. Coming to us tonight from Rizin Fighting Federation, she brings 8 victories, 2 defeats. Fighting out of Tokyo, Japan, Rena Kubota. And the referee in charge, Todd Anderson.
Here's Lindsay Van Zandt, her last fight here at Bellator. She was dynamic, not only in the stand-up, but on the ground. Wherever she wanted the fight to be, that's where it took place, and she just landed blow after blow until the referee had finally seen enough and said, that is it, it's over.
Ready, wait!
Bell in round 1. Kubota, who turns 28 on June 29th in the red gloves. Van Zandt in the blue gloves. Van Zandt coming off that successful Bellator MMA debut at Bellator 215 in February when she stopped Tabitha Ann Watkins with strikes in the second round. And she launches the first strike in this fight.
Nice straight hand by Rena Kubota. She is good in her stand-up game and sometimes very dynamic, but her ground game is also very good.
A shoot boxing specialist for the uninitiated, John. Can you describe what shoot boxing is?
Well, shoot boxing in Japan is the use of boxing techniques along with throws and sometimes ground techniques for a limited amount of time.
Van Zandt back up to her feet, waist lock on Kubota. Kubota's hero, one of the greatest Japanese mixed martial artists ever, Megumi Fujii Ii.
Megumi Fujii was an incredible grappler, an incredible fighter, who I believe had a 22-0 record until her first loss, Moro.
Incredible. and definitely someone who inspired many female mixed martial artists. And, you know, hopefully one day we will get to the point where it's just mixed martial artists, John.
I think it is, because if there's one thing that separates, you know, what we've seen in the boxing world compared to what we see in the MMA world, women competing in MMA, no one knows what's going to happen. It was almost in boxing was that, well, it's going to go the distance. They don't have enough power. With what they're able to do in MMA, with all the submissions, with all the different strikes, you never know what's going to happen when these girls come in here.
Van Zandt attacking the outside of Kubota's lead leg. And again, doing some of the counter punches upstairs by Kubota.
And that kick was beautiful. And the way that she got out of the way of the strikes was also very good by Lindsay Van Zandt.
Kubota's been training at her dojo since she was a 6th grader. She loves to use the liver kick, but her favorite finish is that flying armbar a la Romina Sato.
Romina Sato. Was he not unbelievable? You know, that was when you go back and you look at the stars of Japan.
Well,
MMA.
I mean, they were the, of course, here we go, drinking him again. Pride never died, but you know what I mean, John. So many incredible mixed martial artists coming from the land of the rising sun, and it's so cool to see them plying their craft here in the Bellator MMA cage.
It is, and everyone take that drink. He said it again.
And now Kubota,
nice knee by Kubota.
And the knee. Of course, Kyoji Odaguchi from Ryzen. He will challenge Darion Caldwell to kick off Bellator 222's main card for Bellator's bantamweight title. Odaguchi submitted Caldwell New Year's Eve in Japan to become the inaugural Ryzen bantamweight belt holder. 2 minutes remaining in the first round. Van Zandt looking to maximize his position, go behind, waist lock.
Nice job of dragging her back to the ground, taking the back.
A body triangle.
Look at Lindsay Van Zandt, a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but she's a lot better as a mixed martial arts grappler than she is just with a gi.
She's 5-1 as a pro with 4 knockouts, looking for her first submission. She was 3-3 as an amateur with 3 submissions.
That's right.
She's a BJJ purple belt.
Yes, sir. You look at what Rena's going to be very calm here. She has been in this type of situation before, but she is going against a girl that does not stop.
Rena Kubota, the Japanese representative from Ryzen, is in trouble.
That's getting tight.
It's Van Zandt's fortunes who may be rising here tonight.
Starting to lock it in right now. She gets that chin down on that arm. It's going to be tight. She needs to extend her out. It is tight right now, Mo.
Lindsay Van Zandt. She's out. Lindsay Van Zandt vanquishes Rena Kubota with a rear naked choke. Van Zandt recording her first submission win. As a professional, does it get any bigger?
Man, that's a huge win for Lindsay Van Zandt, taking out a national hero from Japan in Rena Kubota.
Kubota came in with a record of 8-2, 4 knockouts, 2 submissions, but now forced to tap against Van Zandt.
Here was that takedown by Lindsay. She ate a knee on that takedown, but she continued to work, and when she finally got behind Rena, that was when she started to do her work. She got her hooks in and then sunk in this choke, and you can see Rena trying to reach. It is locked. She's not going to be able to pull that arm down, and the longer she sits there, the longer it is, and she's going to end up going to sleep. What a win by Lindsay Van Zandt.
And for the second time in her career, Kubota forced to, well, she didn't even tap. She was out. She had lost a rear naked choke to Kana Asakura New Year's Eve 2017 at the Saitama Super Arena. And here in her Bellator MMA debut, the first time she competes in a cage, well, overwhelmed by Lindsay Van Zandt.
Absolutely beautiful performance. And you got to look, Lindsay Van Zandt is only the second woman to ever beat Rena, because she lost twice to, as you said, in Ryzen, saying all to the same girl.
And Van Zandt said that her ground game would be her huge advantage in this fight. And she definitely used that advantage to full effect. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage with the rear naked choke in deep, no tap. It comes to an end officially, 4 minutes, 4 seconds, round number 1. The winner by technical submission, Lindsay Van Zandt.
Definitely not a damsel in distress as Lindsay Van Zandt picks up a huge victory, improving to 6-1. The $1 million Bellator Welterweight World Grand Prix continues to provide dynamic action. At Bellator 216, bitter rivals Paul Semtex Daly and Michael Venom Page fought a 5-round tactical contest where MVP stayed undefeated and punched his ticket to the next round. That victory set up a showdown with former 2-time champion Douglas Lima, who put on a dominant performance in his rubber match versus another former title holder, Andrei Koreshkov. Then in the first semi-final, Lima showed why he is considered one of the best 170-pounders in the world as he stunned MVP with his highlight reel KO and secured his spot in the final. On the other side of the bracket, undefeated submission specialist Neiman Gracie took care of young gun Ed Ruth in Hawaii. And tonight, on the world's biggest stage, Gracie fights for the belt as he takes on champion Rory McDonald, who was able to edge past crafty veteran John Fitch in a 5-round affair.
Here's our bracket for our welterweight World Grand Prix. Douglas Lima has done everything he is supposed to have been doing to get himself to that final. The question is, who will it be, our champion Rory McDonald, or is it going to be Neiman Gracie that puts themselves into the final against Douglas Lima? We will find out tonight, Mauro.
Yes, we will. The main event of Bellator 222 coming up at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific, streaming live exclusively on Dazn. And here at the world-famous Madison Square Garden, we are awaiting our next preliminary matchup. Again, the women will be back in the cage, women's flyweight action, as we go to the tail of the tape for this matchup. We'll see what Valerie Loureda has in store for her MMA encore after an impressive debut on the main card as she takes on Larkin Dash.
Larkin Dash, 22 years of age, against a very young Valerie Loureda at 20. Both girls have close to the same height, but a good little reach advantage for Valerie in this fight.
And I mentioned Valerie Loureda and her impressive debut, a Taekwondo specialist through and through. Her parents, both black belts. In fact, when her mother tested for her Taekwondo black belt, she was pregnant with Valerie, and Valerie Loureda put her Taekwondo on full display.
Well, she's not just a Taekwondo stylist. She has that skill set, but she has become a mixed martial artist. She has got the stand-up game. She comes after girls in a very aggressive fashion. She's got a good ground game. She is a complete mixed martial artist. That's why she's going to be successful.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
For those joining us around the world live on the Bellator MMA Global app, we welcome you as well to the Garden here in New York City as we go now to the flyweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 5'3", weighing in 125.8 pounds. Early on in her professional career, she stands at 0-1 by way of Hillsdale. She fights out of Detroit, Michigan. Introducing Larkin Dash. And across the cage, her adversary out of the red corner at 5'4", weighing in 125 pounds even. After her successful Bellator debut, she now stands at 1-0 as a professional, fighting out of Miami, Florida, presenting master Valerie Loureda. And the referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
Go ahead out, man. Back up for me, please. Back up. Ready to fight? Ready to fight? Let's go.
The bell in round 1, the referee, Kevin McDonald. It's Master Valerie Loureda in the red gloves. Bellator MMA newcomer Larkin Dash in the blue gloves. She is 0-1 in her MMA career. She grabs onto the hands and then is forced to release after that outside low kick by Loureda.
Well, Larkin Dash is just crushing distance right now on Valerie. She is walking forward. We'll see if that plays into being an effective technique or not.
Body kick by Loureda. Dash telling us that she feels her punches will be stronger than Loureda. She races modified sport cars, and she's definitely an adrenaline junkie, and she is trying to bring the fight to Loureda early.
She seemed very happy to be in the cage while she was being introduced.
Oh,
that was a hard kick she just got hit with.
And the southpaw tastes the kicking power of Loureda. Loureda just 20 years of age. Dash is 22. And Loureda really was not swallowed up by the magnitude of her professional debut by any stretch of the imagination. She said she was born to be on these kinds of stages. She wants to represent Taekwondo at the highest level. Counter right hand from Dash as Loureda fired off a right. Another kick by Loureda connects.
She has a skill set that is unique in the sport of MMA, but she has to learn how to settle down. Right now, she is moving too much, giving too much ground, and when you see Dash coming at you, you've got to give her something to pay for all that movement. Don't sit there and just continue to move. Make her pay for that forward movement.
Loureda training out of the vaunted American top team in Coconut Creek, Florida, with former WEC champion Mike Brown as one of her head trainers, along with Steve Bruno. And boy, the women's mixed martial artists at American top team is next level, John.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
Kayla Harrison.
Take a look at who's there. Amanda Nunez, Kayla Harrison, Joanna. I mean, all of them, Nina, all of them. It's just incredible. But that tells me something about Valerie, that that's where she picked to go to, and she's there getting, as she said, I'm there getting my butt kicked all the time. That's how you get better.
And that's what allows you to do your own puck kicking once you're inside the cage. And
you know what? Make the training hard, make the fight easy.
Just past the midpoint of the opening round. And Dash. Oh, another vicious body kick. And the round Dash takes Loureda down, but popping right back up.
She has landed 3 kicks to the body right now, and I tell you what, you can take one of those, and sometimes you can take 2, maybe 3. If you allow those to continue on, they are going to take an effect on you in the fight.
Final 2 minutes of the first 5 minutes of this women's flyweight matchup. Bellator MMA has teamed up with MVP, Merging Vets and Players. It's an organization that empowers veterans and former elite athletes who may have a difficult time when the uniform comes off to live a life full of pride and purpose with a healthy body and healthy mind. You can go to Bellator.com for more information, and please support that very worthy cause. 1.5 minutes left here in the opening round, and now Loureda utilizing her footwork, backing up out of the range of Larkin Dash's attempts at offense here, John.
Loureda is setting up, she's waiting on Dash in her attempts to come forward, and that's what she's trying to strike. But she needs to just think about, hey, I want to be offensive. She's on the outside. Utilize those great kicks that you have practiced throughout your life and start setting her up with the hands to let those kicks land.
Spinning back kick there by Loureda. Dash's conditioning should not be a problem. She has stayed in great shape throughout her life. She was a collegiate triathlon athlete. And again, she wants to seize this opportunity. She has a side job as a Hooters girl. Both of them, in fact, waitresses. And Loureda saying she has respect for someone like that, chasing the dream. But, you got to pay the bills, John.
I really had a lot of problems with people actually making fun of the fact that she signed her contract while she was in her Hooters uniform. It's like, hey, this is a young girl, a young fighter. You think that she's just going to be able to live off of fighting? She's making a living. Anybody that works, God bless her.
15 seconds left here in the round, and the right hand, another kicks to the head, and now Loureda with a huge uptick in her offensive output here to close out the opening round. Dash trying to fight her off.
She's fighting back. That was a beautiful output. by Valerie Loureda at the end of that
Watch
round.
your hands on the push-off, okay, on the face. Right here, right here.
Unofficial scorecard reads
10-9 for Valerie Loureda.
And the reason for that?
You take a look at who landed the better shots. It's not, this is a big thing. A lot of people say, well, you know, Larkin Dash is coming forward and she's pressing the fight. She's aggressive. Being aggressive is not part of fighting. Landing strikes, landing kicks, that's what does.
What about Mike Brown and what a career he had as a mixed martial artist and now a terrific coach at ATT.
Incredible. Here, look at some of the kicks. Beautiful inside leg kick by Valerie. Here comes another one of the kicks. She landed some beautiful body kicks right here. That's a solid shot to the rib cage. She is good with her kicks, and when she hides those kicks behind her hands, she can be devastating. That was a beautiful output right at the end of the round
Seconds out,
by Valerie
please.
Loureda.
Back up outside the line.
We talk about Loreda's training camp. Only fair to mention that Dash, one of her training partners, UFC veteran Randa Marcos, head trainers Bobby Curtis and Johnny Glover at UA Martial Arts, Empire Boxing Gym and Fight Team, Red 19 out of Motown, Detroit, Michigan.
You know she's got to be tough. She's living in Detroit, Michigan, man.
This is the beginning of round 2. Valerie Loureda, 1-0 with 1 knockout in the red gloves. Larkin Dash is 0-1 as a pro and making her Bellator MMA debut. She's in the blue gloves. Oh, there's a whipping right hand in front of
That's
Loureda.
exactly what you want to see. If she's going to sit there and paw out with that left hand, giving a half-hearted jab, I want you to throw something down the middle that's going to make her pay for it.
And thus far, Loureda not having much difficulty facing the southpaw Dash and all of the different looks that represents, John.
No, yeah, she's handling it well. She's usually stepping her foot to the outside of Larkin Dash's foot, which gives her an advantage in landing that right hand down the pipe.
Loureda lead left, trying to pump out, well, does pump out the jab, but just looking to use it as a rangefinder there.
And you can see Larkin Dash is trying. You see how she's moving to her right. She's trying to step outside of Valerie Loreda's foot, which is the right thing to do. But then she starts to overcommit and gets herself out of position and out of place. And that's when Valerie can take advantage of that movement.
Another body kick by Loureda. Her bread and butter loves to, again, when you look at Taekwondo and how she's able to utilize it in her MMA repertoire, John.
Well, you know, from the beginning, everyone kind of put Taekwondo, down as far as, well, it's not a good martial art for mixed martial arts. Well, as a singular art, they were right.
Oh, good left hand down the pipe by Dash. Finish your thought.
But there are so many skill sets and kicks and varieties that a Taekwondo practitioner can do. I'm telling you, when I sparred with guys who were from Taekwondo and they would start to kick, some of those kicks were hard to see, and they can have a devastating effect on you.
And Dash absorbing some devastating body kicks from Loureda, and yet Dash continues to try to, and she's trying to cut off Loureda. Loureda able to circle back into the center of the cage, but Dash really not showing has a great poker face if she's feeling the effects of the battery of body kicks.
Well, you know that, look, I don't care who you are. When you're getting kicked by someone that knows how to kick, it hurts. But she keeps on coming. She's got no quit in her. I love what I see out of Larkin Dash right now.
Dash went for a kick caught by Loureda. Loureda delivers a couple of punches to the face of Dash. Under 2 minutes left in the second round. And of course, we are honored to have our flyweight champion, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, as part of our broadcast tonight. One of the most incredible moments I've ever been a part of in my over 3-decade career as a broadcaster was the scene in Hawaii when she defeated Valerie Loureda, and the energy in that arena was something to behold, John.
It was something special, and it was the way that she handled a pressure-packed situation with not only class, but then coming out and putting on a performance like she did against a veteran fighter in Valerie Loureda.
There's a 360 kick there. Oh, what a body kick by Loureda. Doubles over Dazn momentarily, and yet Dazn continues to fight her back.
He's firing back. I tell you, she took 2 good kicks. Which right now you can tell she's giving a little distance, trying to suck in that air. But man, she did not let it look like those hurt her, but they did.
What do we say about fighting out of Detroit, Michigan? She's as tough as Detroit.
It's gotta be. You know, and a lot of it is, you know, people are like looking at this and saying, you know, these are both young girls, and they are both young girls as far as their fighting career. You know, looking at, you know, Valerie's 1-0 and Larkin is 0-1 coming into this. She lost on a decision. What more can you ask of 2 young fighters, especially coming to Madison Square Garden, fighting under those bright lights in this arena? It takes a lot to step in here.
Final 10 seconds of the round. Another kick by Loureda, another punch, and now Loureda with a flurry, mixing it up with knees, and up, but Dazn lands a winging left hand at the pin. What an exchange.
We just need that to happen throughout the round.
Wow. Man, Larkin Dazn telling us her greatest strengths are her hard perseverance, endurance, and boxing. We are seeing all of that.
Look at the kick that Valerie Loureda lands. Dazn tries to fight back. She gets hit with a knee. She's starting to get overwhelmed, grabs the arm and decides to turn, and then lands a shot going back. Didn't have any power that hurt Valerie, but then that left hand does hit right at the end of the bell. Watch how fast this happens. Boom. Look at that shot going after it. Gets hit with the knee, all of a sudden turns but tries to pull her down, and then lands the left hand right at the end.
Your remote control button is not stuck on the fast forward button. That was real speed. Wow. Incredible stuff, and let's hope for more here in the 3rd and final round. Valerie Loureda, 20 years of age, 1-0. Larkin Dazn, 22, 0-1. And the crowd here at MSG showing their approbation for these 2 young, hungry females.
Canvas, it's all right. Back up. Back outside. All right, 3rd final.
And this is the future of the flyweight division. And after heading into round 3, John, your scorecard?
Well, no doubt in my mind that Valerie Loureda has taken both of those rounds, but it's not like Larkin Dazn is being overwhelmed, but it's those last 10 seconds of both rounds that have been so exciting between these 2.
Southpaw Dazn paused the jab. This is with the left as Loureda circling to her right, back to the center of the cage. Trying to reset.
Dazn, she's switching. Southpaw to orthodox, back to southpaw. She needs to settle her footwork down and slide her feet. Right now she's kind of plodding forward. Just take your time and slide your feet forward. Smooth, be smooth. When you're smooth, you're gonna be fast.
Loureda trying to find an angle of entry, takes a peek in her corner. Just over a minute gone here in the final round of this flyweight matchup. And don't forget, coming up, 10 o'clock Eastern, the main card for Bellator 222 here at Madison Square Garden. 2 championship matches bookend what should be a magnificent main card in Bellator MMA's return to MSG.
See that little shot, that nice right hand off of that footwork. That's what I want to see Valerie doing all the time. You have your movement, and as she comes into range, take that step forward, throw those shots, and finish it off with those amazing kicks.
There's the lead right hand down, splitting the guard of Dazn, and Loureda just switching her lateral movement left to right now, sets. Dazn moving forward, missing with the kick. 2-3-2, the combination being yelled out, and we would like to see some combinations.
I would like to, right?
There's a beautiful right hand, the pot shot from Loureda. And unfortunately, Dazn unable to throw anything.
Well, Dazn is having a problem with that distance because she's been kicked, and kicked to the body hard, been kicked to the face. And so she's kind of worried about, and then all of a sudden she gets flustered and does that mad rush in. You're starting to see Valerie start to set her up for those mad rushes, and she's starting to take pot shots on her. So she has to be careful about that just coming in.
Inside low kick by Loureda. But single shots and then just utilizing lateral movement, lead right hand.
Right there, all out of position when she gets close. Now she's in close on her, but out of position to throw any type of strike.
And no leverage on the shot. The training, both going to step in. Oh, what a body kick, the snap of that strike.
See, and if I was Mike Brown, I would be telling Valerie Loureda, hey, every chance that she comes close, I want you to throw that. I want you to throw the kick. Again, throw it to the arms, throw it to the body, throw it to the legs. Those are connecting, and they definitely are going to have an effect.
Couple of right hands, again, splitting Daz's guard, and Daz's offense has been muted here in the third stanza.
Yeah, she's chasing a lot, but there's no offensive output coming from her. And again, she's getting out of position. You can see when she comes forward, and all of a sudden, you're seeing Loureda step off to her right side, leaving her in a position she has no offense to attack Loureda with.
Final 60 seconds of this women's flyweight bout. Bellator 222 prelims. Loureda using her calling card, those kicks and those in. Tornado kick by Loureda. Right hand clips Dazn. Dazn is moving forward, but not firing any strikes at Loureda.
See, and I would tell you, this is a good thing for Valerie Loureda as a fighter. I want you to have those minutes. I want you to have time in the cage that you're not being damaged, but you're having to put things together. You're having to have an output and figure things out. This is all a great learning experience for us.
Another
big body shot.
And Dazn catching it, looking for the takedown. Good balance by Loureda. Moore just missed with that spinning hook kick, but again, and Dazn just swinging wildly. Clips Loureda, but the bell goes. And Dazn, happy with her efforts in her Bellator MMA debut, goes the distance with the hyped Valerie Loureda, who is in her sophomore outing as a professional mixed martial artist. And what was your takeaway from this fight, John?
Well, I thought it was a very good outing for both girls. I saw a lot of good things from Valerie Loureda. I saw a lot of toughness and a lot of desire to make something happen by Larkin Dazn. But there's no doubt in my mind, Valerie Loureda had the better technique, the better shots landed, and she won the rounds in this fight. Take a look at this beautiful tornado kick. Boom, just touches off to the body, not a lot of it. Let's go right back to it. Beautiful spinning heel kick, did not connect. And that's the difference. You've got to start to figure out that distance to when you throw that technique, that thing lands and does damage.
Off balance shot for Loureda as Dazn was just swinging wildly.
She went down not from a punch. She got pushed off balance. That can happen, but an outstanding effort from both girls. Larkin Dazn didn't have a whole lot of time to train for this. Taking it basically last minute, and you got to be impressed that Valerie Loureda is improving as a fighter.
Just the second professional MMA bout for each of these young ladies, and we await the official decision. Let's get it up to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go to your judges' scorecards. Your first judge, Tim Corrado, scores the fight 29-28, while judges David Torelli and Christopher Lee both see the fight the same, 30-27. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Master Valerie Loureda.
Loureda picks up the unanimous decision win, a great sign of sportsmanship and respect. And yes, hats off to Larkin Dazn, taking the fight on short notice. And let's go back to Jay Glazer and the crew.
Oh, Valerie Loureda continues her winning ways. Perhaps be a future opponent for you, champ. You never know. All right, well, again, our prelims were about highlighting future stars here. And coming up next, Erin Pico. He was viewed as, at one point, the LeBron James of really prodigies here in the sport of mixed martial arts. And it just didn't work out for him. Wrestling background, boxing background, pancration background. Now he goes against Adam Borics, who is undefeated here. But Erin Pico, what's he have to do to get the Erin Pico train to go through the right tunnel?
He's got his work cut out for him tonight. Adam Borics is tough as nails, well-rounded. Pico's got his work cut out for him tonight, but what he needs to do is he needs to get back to his roots. His roots is his wrestling.
He's never used it here.
He's never used it. He needs to use that to win this fight. And I'm not simply saying that he needs to dominate to top position and ground and pound. What I'm saying is that he needs to threaten that takedown to make it look like he's gonna use it, so he can start using his hands, so he can land more of those highlight reel knockouts that we saw early in his career.
Absolutely. I actually think that his camp change to Jackson Winkler MMA was really good for him, is going to be really good for him for this fight. They are calculated, they game plan, they strategize, and that's something that was missing from Erin Pico's last fight against Corrales. He just started swinging, didn't follow through with the game plan, so I think that this camp change is going to be really beneficial for him.
Well, also, Bellator didn't say, all right, let's try and build you up. They're giving Adam Borics, who's never lost. He's a tough opponent here. Josh?
Yeah, the issue I have, not even so much an issue. All the things that Adam Borics done well, those are the questions that need to be answered for Erin Pico, and that's the problem. That's why I think for this fight, it's going to be detrimental for Erin Pico to dictate the pace of this fight, because Adam Borics has all the tools to beat him in every aspect of this game.
All right, hey guys, it is time to see if Erin Pico, the prodigy, can get back on his winning ways and start becoming one of these rising stars. Or if Adam Borics, he chalks up another win in the W column. Moro, let's go, big boy.
All right, Jay, yes, indeed. Many questions surrounding Erin Pico, and you know what? Adam Borics thus far answering all of the questions. He's undefeated, and this is a pivotal featherweight fight in terms of the career trajectory for Erin Pico and Adam Borics.
Pivotal fight for both of them. 4-2 for Pico. We've seen those wins and we've seen the losses. Both these guys are outstanding young fighters.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA Live on Dazn now presents a featherweight feature fight set for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner. At 5'11", weighing in 145.4 pounds, his professional record undefeated, 12 victories, no defeats. Originally from Augere, Hungary, he fights out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Adam the Kid Borics. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'8", weighing in 145.4 pounds as a professional, 4 victories, 2 defeats. Now training out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. He hails from Whittier, California, Erin Pico. And the referee in charge, Dan Mergliata.
You ready, sir? You ready, sir? Let's go, fight.
Referee is Dan Mergliata. Bell goes to begin round 1 in this featherweight fight, and Erin Pico in the red gloves, switching from the Body Shop to Jackson Wink MMA. Adam the Kid Borics, he's 3-0 in Bellator with 1 knockout and 2 submissions, including a highlight reel flying knee knockout at Bellator 196 against Theodore Nikolov in April of 2018. So, as hyped as Pico's been, Adam Borics is as good a prospect as they come.
Oh, he's outstanding, but what we're seeing right now is what we have all talked about with Erin Pico. Look at you. Came from the wrestling game. You have an outstanding stand-up game. You have heavy hands. But in the wrestling game, if you can take the fighter off of their feet and take away that kinetic energy, they don't have the ability to knock you out. So why take the chance of being in a 50-50 situation and allowing your opponent to hurt you when you can do the damage from the top position?
Borics, 12-0 with 2 knockouts, 6 submissions. His background is in Thai boxing and karate, but has had success on the mat but he is in again against a prodigy when it comes to all aspects of martial arts. And there's Piko picking up Borch and slamming him down. Borch in the close guard. So he's been listening, Piko, and going back to his wrestling roots.
Sometimes when you get a guy like Greg Jackson that finally says, all right, look, this is what I need from you. I need you to do this. This is part of our plan. And now at least we see that Erin Pico is listening. He's doing these things. You don't have to win the fight in the first minute. It's a long fight. You have 15 minutes to win this fight. So why put yourself in a position where you can be hurt? Put your opponent where you know you can do damage and he can't hurt you.
Piko looking to exercise the demon of his professional MMA debut here at Madison Square Garden when he was submitted by Zach Freeman in just 24 seconds. And of course, coming off the loss to Henry Corrales at Bellator 214 in January, had Corrales down, but again, went the striking route and ended up getting caught.
Exactly. Beautiful job by lacing the legs on Piko, but he's going to end up having a hard time keeping Adam Borch down. Adam Borch is a complete mixed martial artist. His wrestling is good. It's not as good as Erin Pico's, but it's good. And with the use of the cage, Adam Borch is very good at getting up.
Just past the midway point of the first round. And there's that low kick to the outside of Pico's lead leg, and Piko changes levels again, hoists Borch up and takes him down again. Second takedown executed by Piko here in the first frame.
Those are more takedowns in this first frame than he's had his entire career, Moro. And that's important because look at the guy he's facing here. Adam Borch is undefeated as a professional. He was undefeated in his amateur career at 10-0, and he's undefeated as a Thai kickboxer at 10-0.
The legendary late boxing trainer Emmanuel Stewart said it best, knockouts sell. And believe me, Erin Pico's 4 knockouts of the highlight reel variety, but he was one of the most hyped prospects in MMA history because of his diversity, because of what he was able to do in all facets, but his real skill set in the beginnings wrestling.
Oh, and it's not only on top of that, Erin Pico is one of the hardest workers you're going to find in the gym. He is in incredible condition, and he can wrestle all day long. So he's not going to get tired doing this. Normally when I'm sitting there saying when you're picking a guy up, you're taking a lot of energy out. I don't worry about that with Erin Pico. I know he can do that without any question, continuing to do it not only for 3 rounds, but also 5.
Looking to reverse, but Piko, there's the attempt by Borch here to...
Piko needs to get his head up and out high.
And Piko telling us that it's all about his pressure, his gas tank. And there again, another, well, Borch giving up his back here, the waist lock by Piko.
But what you're seeing is Borch is having a very hard time in developing any type of offense to deal with what Erin Pico is doing. Erin keeps putting him in bad position, and he's having to defend and try to get out.
Oh, they're
not getting hit, you're not getting hurt.
And Borch back to his feet. He trains at Hard Knocks 365 under Henry Hooft out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Final 15 seconds of the opening round. Pico's wrestling has told the story in this first 5 minutes. And there's a right hand by Piko, changes levels again, but this time thwarted by Borch.
Yeah. Have a seat. Have a seat. Perfect. Whoa. Good breaths. Let's get that heart rate low.
Aha! All right, now, big breath. Slow it down.
Here's those takedowns by Erin Pico. This is what he has not done throughout his career as a mixed martial artist. Now he's utilizing that wrestling skill that has gotten him so far, taking him all the way to the point of the Olympic team, just 1 match away. He has incredible wrestling skills. By utilizing him, not only is he keeping himself safe, but you can see more of the one thing that he's starting to do is he's wearing down the arms of Adam Borch.
Work your way in, ready, counter. Beautiful work, brother.
Hey, let's do another great move.
Your unofficial scorecard reads after the first 5 minutes.
Let's go, both guys fighting hard, but definitely 10-9 for Erin Pico.
This is round number 2. Piko in the red gloves, Boric in the blue gloves. Piko looking to rebound from his second loss again, changes levels, secures the takedown on Boric, who is undefeated at 12-0, including 3 wins under the Bellator banner. All of Pico's fights have come inside the Bellator MMA cage.
Right now, Boric holding on. He does not have what we would look for as a guillotine attempt. It's over the arms. There is no danger for Erin Pico in this position right now. Right now, what Adam Boric is doing is he's just slowing it down, holding on. But it's the one thing that I was talking about. At the end of that first round, I look at Adam Boric as a very fast fighter, and his arms were getting heavy because you could see it when he threw his shots. It wasn't that same speed. He came out after the break, threw a couple punches, and the speed was back. How's he going to be if he has to continue to wrestle with
Up kicks from Boric, and Piko again putting his weight on the fighter from Hungary, fighting out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Piko wanting to show everyone. He told us that he's not one-dimensional. We know that, but here he is, definitely putting his wrestling, his high-level wrestling, on full display.
And it's so frustrating if you're Adam Boric to get in this position where you get yourself up and he's immediately taking you back down. That is just humbling when you're that fighter that you work hard to get there, and now you're back on the mat.
Piko won U.S. junior titles in 3 wrestling disciplines, pursued the Olympics in 2016 as a 19-year-old in lieu of college. He reached the finals of the U.S. Olympic trials that year, but was defeated by Frank Molinaro, a former Division I champion who was 8 years older than Piko. And in addition to his wrestling prowess, he was both a junior Golden Gloves champion in boxing and a European pancration champion. You see why he was heavily hyped as a prospect.
Look at him. He was training with Freddie Roach for a long time. He was
sparred with Miguel Cotto.
Miguel Cotto's sparring partner for his final championship fight.
And he does. And I know Cotto's not going to want to hear this, but I actually called Cotto's first and only loss in his home away from home here in Madison Square Garden against Austin Trout. And now we're, you know, again, this is where Piko suffered his first loss in his professional debut.
But this fight tonight, what I'm seeing, at least in the first half of this fight, Erin Pico is fighting a very smart fight against a very, very good fighter in Adam Boric. Look at him lacing that arm behind, trying to grab it with his left arm to hold on to it.
He is
everything he's doing. Take a look at the legs.
The offense of Boric.
He's got those brought up figure 4 in the leg. Everything he's doing is right.
Boric, who has 3 triangle chokes, 2 rear naked chokes, submission victories, but again, went viral with that flying knee knockout of Theodore Nikolov. And Piko fully cognizant of his Thai boxing skills, those knee strikes, and just keeping Boric pinned against the cage, utilizing his oxygen-sucking wrestling.
And you see Boric not getting himself back to his feet because he doesn't want to take that big takedown because he knows that Pico's arms are locked around him.
Minute and a half remaining in the second round, and Boric is going to have to try to find a way to get back to his feet and create separation.
He does need to create separation.
Piko all over him like a spray tan.
He's got that good tan from Florida. Come on, man.
A minute 13 now left, and there's that head kick, and now there's the knee! There's the knee! Caught him! Boric just caught Piko with the knee! Boric defeats Erin Pico! Mamma mia! Oh my God! What a comeback! And we talked about it. Adam Boric and that flying knee knockout. He does it again, John.
That's exactly how he did it. The last wrestler that he fought, like you're talking about, in Nikolai, he landed that exact same type of flying knee. And no matter what, it looked to me like Erin Pico went out for a short second off of that shot.
Incredible turn of events here in Madison Square Garden.
Look at the way he drops.
Pico got dropped with that left knee.
That was a huge shot. He's starting to try to defend himself, but he's unable to stop what Adam does. That shot right there, look at his arms. Flops down, he is out at that moment. Gets himself back, but it cannot stop what Adam's doing, and that is why. Look at the shots he starts to take. Dan Miragliotta stops the fight. That's a good stoppage by Dan. Huge shot. Again, going after him, and this is why we said Adam Borics is a dangerous fighter. Big shot. Everything we're talking about, Mauro, the kinetic energy, allowing that person to have freedom of movement with their legs, that's what just let Adam Borics get his win.
Madison Square Garden remains a house of horrors for Erin Pico, but Adam the Kid Borics improves to 13-0, a perfect 4-0 in Bellator. All 4 fights in the distance, 2 submissions, and now 2 knockouts. And Adam Borics with the biggest triumph of his career. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
To an end, officially 3 minutes, 55 seconds, round number 2. The winner by knockout, still undefeated, the Kid, Adam Borics.
A change of camp, and yet the same result for Erin Pico. John, quickly, we don't want to steal the thunder from Adam Borics because he deserves all the praise and the attention. Where does Erin Pico go from here?
Look, Erin Pico just needs to collect himself, go back to Jackson Winklejohn, and start putting in the time to get all of that transitioning that a mixed martial artist needs. He is a great wrestler. He has got great strikes. But when you leave people in positions where they can have that kinetic energy to hurt you, this is what can happen. And that's why we said this was a dangerous opponent for Erin Pico.
Adam Borics emerging as a contender in the featherweight division. Let's go back to the fight desk.
Wow. That is why it is mixed martial arts, and all the arts play a role here. Erin Pico, who would have thought, drops to 4-3 in his professional career. Borics is now 13-0. But folks, the reason why we were so surprised, here is a guy, high school wrestling, went right to the Olympic trials, to the finals. U.S. National Freestyle Wrestling Champion, Greco-Roman Champion, Folk Style Champion, National Pancration Champion, National Junior Golden Gloves Champion. What has gone wrong for Erin Pico?
I don't think it's necessarily gone wrong. Borics, I was not personally surprised. We were talking about it before the fight. Watch out for those flying knees. It's heartbreaking for Pico. He was sticking to the game plan, but that game plan, I would have liked to have seen him use his striking. We knew he could take him down. So use those attempted takedowns to set up his striking. Adam saw it and timed that knee perfectly.
Well, Adam's got fights that he's had before. He's finished by flying knee knockouts here at Bellator. The other thing is, well, this is a history of wrestlers. What happens with wrestlers is they tend to like duck in thinking they're gonna shoot for the takedown when someone leaves their feet. That flying knee was a perfect setup for the whole time. He kept getting taken down after taking down.
It doesn't shoot offline.
No, there was nothing on. He needed to shoot offline, but then also too, the main thing that I was gonna make it is he needed to mix in his boxing. You can't just keep wrestling. That's the one thing he's done wrong with both these things, is first he was just boxing, and now he was just wrestling. He needs to put the two things together. He didn't do that tonight.
Adam Borics, all respect goes out to him. 13-0 with that. Let's have our prelims continue and roll on.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. We are set for a catchweight fight. The ladies go at it again. Boxing champion, Brooklyn's own Heather Heat Hardy taking on Taylor Turner.
Incredible boxing champion in Heather Hardy. Both these girls up in age, but look at that reach advantage that Taylor Turner has, but Heather Hardy knows how to get rid of it.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
From Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, Bellator MMA live on Dazn now presents 3 5-minute rounds at 128 pounds. And we introduce the blue corner first. At 5'10", weighing in 127.8 pounds, her professional record 3-5 by way of Kenosha, Wisconsin. She fights out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Taylor Turner. And across the cage, her adversary tonight fights out of the red corner at 5'5", weighing in 127.8 pounds. the undefeated professional boxer and reigning WBO World Featherweight Champion tonight, as a mixed martial artist, enters with 2 victories, 1 defeat. Hailing from Brooklyn, New York, introducing Heather Hardy. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge of the action, Blake Grice.
Here's Heather Hardy against Alice Yager, showing the type of power she had. She had just suffered in that, before that shot, a headbutt that cut her open, and she went after Alice Yager. They had a war.
This was Hardy's
after it.
pro MMA debut at Bellator 180 here at Madison Square Garden.
You ready? You ready? Fight!
Likewise, referee Bell in round 1, Heather the Heat Hardy in the red gloves, Taylor Turner in the blue gloves. Hardy wants to show the world that, quote, the toughest girls in the world are single moms from Brooklyn, close quote, as she takes Turner down.
That was Turner actually going for the takedown, and Heather stopped it, got position.
Hardy now training at Law MMA under Ray Longo, and also, of course, Gleason's gym for boxing. And she's questioning whether she wants to continue boxing. She may decide to go full-time in MMA, and John, you know how difficult it is just to be successful in one discipline. Trying to juggle 2, not so easy.
It's almost impossible, and it's so hard to describe when people sit there and say, why can't you do both? Why can't you do kickboxing also? Look at, they are different techniques, they are different applications of those techniques, and you can't just do it all.
Turner takedown into side control, and Turner trains with the likes of former UFC light heavyweight title challenger Ovin St. Preux, Knoxville, Tennessee, by way of Kenosha, Wisconsin.
There's an open gateway to mount right now for Taylor Turner if she wants it. Heather, there you go. Heather, you see Heather starting to block a little bit and do something. She needs to buck her hips, start to get her back. The knee on belly, right to mount. This is all bad for Heather Hardy.
Turner 3 and 5. But all of her victories have come inside the distance. Full mount, she's posturing up. She has a knockout and 2 submissions.
Yeah, not a lot of power on the shot she's throwing. But she has the ability since she's so long. Heather Hardy can't even get close to her. And Hardy's going to start to
get up her back. And now, 2 rear naked chokes already. Turner looking for her 3rd rear naked choke submission win. And flattens out Hardy, now short strikes.
She needs to maintain those legs. She's got that hook back in. She needs to maintain that position with that hook. It would be best if she got her other hook there. That's what she just got with that movement. Now those hips are up high.
She's released the rear naked choke attempt, John, and Hardy in trouble, though.
Hardy is not going to be able to take any type of choke. You can see she's having a problem just with the positioning of the arm on her neck.
Her 1 loss due to a doctor stoppage, due to a broken nose, and Turner all over Heather Hardy here in round 1.
Taylor Turner right now, she could go for the arm if she wanted. There's a lot of different things that she can move to, but she's also looking, saying, I'm very safe where I'm at. Let me just inflict damage.
And again, just full mount. Hardy just trying to block these shots. 2 minutes left in the 1st round.
So much time, Morrow. This is a bad position for Heather Hardy because she's showing she does not know how to get Taylor Turner off of her.
Turner telling us her biggest strengths, the game of transitions and being tricky, and here she has dominant position, full mount, ground and pound. Hardy desperately trying to stave off this smorgasbord of strikes. Not a lot of pop, like you said, John, but she continues to just drop the rights and lefts.
And that's the one thing sometimes with you're getting fighters that don't have a lot of body weight and they just start to swing and there's not a lot of power. No one's getting hurt, so that's why the referee's not stopping the fight.
Referee imploring Hardy to fight back.
That armbar is there any moment she wants, and she can swing.
Oh, there's a and that's over. Taylor Turner triumphs over Heather Hardy in the opening round.
Knoxville in the house.
So Turner improves to 4-5, all 4 of her victories inside the distance as she picks up her second victory via form of knockout. So now 2 KOs, 2 submissions, and she will be going back to Knoxville, Tennessee, a winner in her Bellator MMA debut. And they're celebrating with her head coach and her husband, Eric Turner. And a celebration for Taylor Turner, who comes into Heather Hardy's backyard and defeats the boxing champion. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, referee Blake Price steps in, waves a halt to the bout due to unanswered strikes. Officially, 3 minutes, 53 seconds, round number 1. The winner by TKO, Taylor Turner.
A triumphant Taylor Turner, victorious in her first fight inside the Bellator MMA cage. Let's go back to Jay and company.
All right, appreciate it, Mario. Tonight we have 2 main events. We finish off with the welterweight championship of the world, McDonald against Neiman Gracie. But Chael P. Sutton, normally sitting here next to me tonight. Thank goodness he's not. Ali Malay is here. He is putting it all on the line against Lyoto Machida. And look, Machida has beaten a who's who in this sport. Musashi, Ryan Bader, Randy Couture, Dan Henderson, Vitor Belfort, Tito Ortiz, Shogun Hoover, Rashad Evans. It goes on and on and on. You see him entering the arena right now. What does Chael P. Sutton and Josh have to do that these other, especially wrestlers that I just talked about, were not able to do, thinking they could going into this fight?
Well, what Chael has to do is has to close the distance real fast. But what he also has is a weapon that those other wrestlers didn't have. He has that fast double leg, and he actually uses it in chain wrestles better than anyone in the sport that I've ever seen. Right to the double leg, doesn't get the double leg, works his way up to the body lock, right to the body lock into inside trips or lifts, anything, any type of chain wrestling he can do to get this fight to the ground. Remember, he only needs to get 3 takedowns, 1 per round.
Absolutely. And I think not only does he have to close his distance fast, but he has to finish this fight fast. Lyoto does this all year round, okay? And I heard that Chael didn't really have a good weight cut. I feel that he gets tired, he taps fast, so he needs to finish this fight early. The deeper waters it goes, the better it is for Lyoto.
The big thing about Chael, though, is his pace early. Pace. As long as he continues to go with the takedowns, he'll be okay, but sometimes Chael can get in his own way. And a lot of these wrestlers can against Machida, and they start getting mesmerized by his hips and all his movement, and they stop with their game plan. Josh?
The one thing that concerns me is that it's the chain wrestling. If he doesn't get it, you tend to get tired, like she's saying, is that it gets frustrating if you don't get the takedown. You don't get them early and often, then you start wasting energy on forcing the takedown, and that's not what you should be doing. And Chael doesn't normally do that, but I can understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you know, Lyoto is the type of fighter that does frustrate wrestlers. He has a really good takedown defense, so I think he is going to end up frustrating Chael today.
What I think he needs to do is he needs to cut the angles, like we just saw talk with Erin Pico. He needs to make sure he cuts the angles when he shoots on these takedowns.
And look, if he shoots in 15 times, it doesn't happen, he has to go 16, 17, 18, and just keep making sure that fight gets to the ground. Morrow, Big John, take it away, guys.
We return to the men's featherweight division. And this matchup between John Beneducci, 0-1 in Bellator, against Kenny Rivera, making his Bellator debut.
Take a look at that reach, 68-64. John Beneducci, very good grappler. Stand up, not quite what Kenny Rivera brings.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
The Bellator 222 prelims continue now in the featherweight division, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner first at 5'5", weighing in 145.8 pounds. His professional record 2-1 by way of Newport Beach, California. He fights out of Queens, New York, Kenny Toonhouse Rivera. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'5", weighing in 146 pounds. As a professional, he stands at 2-2. He fights out of Brooklyn, New York, presenting John the Manimal Beneducci. And the referee in charge, Mike Beltran.
Mike Beltran will oversee this featherweight matchup 38-year-old John Beneducci against 31-year-old Kenny Rivera.
All right, gentlemen, first round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's go.
Possible 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. It is John Beneducci in the red gloves, Kenny Rivera in the blue gloves. Rivera training with Jimmy Rivera, Tiger Schulman, and John Danaher.
Kenny Rivera's got very good power in his hands. He's got a good stand-up game, and you're gonna see John Beneducci working towards the takedown. That is where he has an advantage in this fight.
Beneducci in the red gloves working with Ray Longo and Matt Serra. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Serra. He's 2-2 with 2 submission wins. Rivera 2-1 with a submission victory. And Rivera, he's a BJJ purple belt under the estimable John Danaher.
There you go. John Danaher is the guru.
Rivera now has
Beneducci on top of Rivera.
Beneducci on top, Rivera underneath. And Rivera played hockey in high school. Today marks the 25th anniversary of the New York Rangers' last Stanley Cup celebration. Took place right here at Madison Square Garden.
You're trying to bring your Rangers into this, aren't you?
An amazing experience.
John Beneducci, we talked about that reach, and there's a 4-inch reach advantage for Kenny Rivera. But this is what you do to negate that advantage. Now that doesn't matter who's got the longer reach. Now it's about positioning and movement to take advantage of the ground where John Beneducci is so good.
Beneducci looking to move to 1-1 in Bellator. Lost his debut to Dean Hancock via first-round technical knockout. Has not fought since his Bellator debut in October 2017 and had a 10-year layoff prior to his Bellator debut.
Great job by Kenny Rivera to get himself back to his feet, but separation is the key. If you get back to your feet, separate away from John Beneducci. You do not want to have him have his hands around your body.
Rivera fighting out of Enzo Gracie, NYC, representing Striking 101.
Go over there. Stay over there. There, John. Work it out. You got time. All right? Right there. You good? All right. Let's go back. Get over here.
Here's the knee coming inside. You can see it clips John straight in, and he brings another one through. Not intentional, but got to be careful where those strikes land.
Coming up on the halfway point of the first frame, and Beneducci looking for the takedown on Rivera. Uchimata instead picks that right ankle and secures the takedown into the guard of Kenny Rivera. The crowd chanting Manimal, nickname given to John Beneducci at a tournament when he was grunting and growling through a choke. He got out, turned it around, and he says, well, plus it's because he's hairy and runs barefoot in the woods.
Because he's wearing a fur coat.
He's hirsute.
Hirsute?
That's another word for hairy, my friend. A half butterfly guard being employed by Rivera.
Nice job moving to the half guard. Look at this is what we're talking about. John's got a game where he is very good on top. Now into that side control position. And this is beautiful placement. Look at him controlling the arm.
And dropping those short right hands.
And it's not that Kenny Rivera isn't good on the ground. He is.
Oh,
he's
good
just
body
being
position.
out position.
Yep.
John trying to bury that arm again. Did it. Free shots. Opening up on Kenny Rivera.
Both of Beneducci's victories have come via first-round submission.
John Beneducci is now complaining to the referee because he didn't stop the fight. This is where
neutralizing the arm, and Rivera gives up his back.
He does. He's still in a good position. He's all right with where he's at. It's incredible when a fighter sits there and thinks because he's throwing punches, that's going to stop the fight.
And
Don't
now
worry.
Rivera looking to take down Beneducci. He does.
And this is the mental aspect of the game. Why are you talking to the referee? Continue to do what you're doing to finish the fight.
Do not give up top position.
And Rivera training with the likes of Jimmy Rivera, Shane Burgos, Neiman Gracie, who we will see in the main event, challenging Rory McDonald for the Bellator welterweight title in the semifinals of the welterweight Grand Prix. So Rivera getting some world-class sparring, and now looking to... Oh, good reversal here by Beneducci, looking for the heel hook. Time running out of the opening round.
Roll with that.
And Rivera very calmly rolled with that, got back to his feet. Decent round.
Hey, John, keep fighting until I tell you to go, right?
You're looking fucking good, brother. Yes. Keep that. Deep breath, deep breath. Looking good. Fucking pressure against the cage is excellent.
Kyoji Horiguchi, the rising bantamweight champion, making his Bellator MMA debut and, well, looking to endear himself to the local contingent. Bellator 222 and Darion Caldwell as well. Both of them sporting New York Knicks colors. And boy, the Knicks are poised to make some major moves in free agency.
We'll see what happens.
And the
what
draft.
An NBA season. What a final.
Oh, what a final it was. Toronto Raptors, we the North.
Congratulations to Toronto Raptors. Congratulations to St. Louis Blues.
What incredible. What a week of sports, culminating with Bellator 222 here at the Mecca of combat sports, Madison Square Garden. This is round number 2. And immediately John Beneducci closes the distance, but Rivera turns him around, pins him along the fence. Rivera in the blue gloves, Beneducci in the red.
It was a really good first round for John Beneducci, but there was that momentary lapse when he thought because he had a crucifix position, the referee's going to come in and stop it. And he starts to talk to the referee, he loses mental focus. We'll see if he gets it back in the second.
Does that mean you gave it to Beneducci then? On the
Absolutely, Beneducci won that first round.
And knees now from Rivera.
Stop! Time! Just get over there. Right there. Stand right there.
That's a pattern. This is a pattern we don't want. This is happening far too often tonight.
This seems to be a pattern with Mike Beltran as the referee. Mike Beltran has been suffering the groin shot blues here.
And somewhere, a singer-songwriter is now composing the groin shot blues.
Sure? Okay, all right. Let's go, guys. Bring it in.
All right,
Come here,
he's
guys.
able to recover. John Beneducci and a
Keep
good
it clean,
sign
all
of
right, gentlemen?
sportsmanship. And they resume the action. And now it's Beneducci turning the tables on Rivera. Shoulder strike. Looking to change levels. The underhook is by Rivera, keeping that from transpiring.
Beneducci keeps on getting those underhooks, turning Rivera's back to that cage. And you look and you think, why does Kenny Rivera continue to close that space and let him have that position?
Beneducci looking to snag the single leg, being well defended by Rivera.
It is. Adding some shots. I don't even want to, you're hearing the knees of the body. They're having enough problems with those knees. Keep the legs.
Just grinding away here in round 2 and close quarters combating there. Both jockeying for position, both with opportunities to create separation from the cage, but there's the change in level, but a good wide base. But no, Beneducci perseveres.
Yeah, Beneducci getting good position.
He's shielded by
He's got a beautiful lace on that right arm of Rivera. That's a good step over, but he's still got that knee in place. Needs to think about where his position is. There you go. Start to step in. Now we're in a good half guard position with that lace. Rivera freed the arm. He's going to try to grab it back and put it back in that position. When I talk about a lace, when you're taking that right arm and running it along the back, it opens your ability to freely hit with that free arm. Nice job by Kenny Rivera.
And now Rivera in the half butterfly guard of Beneducci, and will try to posture, delivers a slashing elbow strike, hammer fist, another short elbow strike, now the wide base, and some ground and pound from Rivera on Beneducci. Beneducci using his feet, up kick, trying to keep the attacking Rivera at bay, now wants to control his posture.
Good job by Rivera when he's putting that pressure on. You see Beneducci trying to do those up kicks. You've got to think, I got to keep my hips forward of my face. That's going to keep me safe. It's when the fighter starts to lean over that they become in danger of that up kick.
You need to get your feet on the hips, man.
Minute and a half left in the second round. Rivera looking to maximize this position on Beneducci. Beneducci doing a good job of neutralizing Rivera's offense for the most part.
Great job of passing into that half guard position.
By Beneducci. Beautiful sweep by Beneducci right into side control. Now the crucifix and dropping the left hands on Rivera.
This is where when you start to open up, don't stop. You've got that crucifix position. Now start to land those elbows and make that referee stop the fight.
Under a minute left in the second round.
Yeah, less than a minute, buddy. Keep working. Try to use the cage. Watch out,
There's those elbow strikes. What a beautiful sweep by Rivera. What a grappling match here in round number 2 between John Beneducci and Kenny Rivera.
Some outstanding technique by both guys. It was a beautiful butterfly sweep that you saw Beneducci bring out, and then right back by Rivera.
And now it's Beneducci who again looks to signal, just willing his way to the half guard of Kenny Rivera. Final 15 seconds in the round.
Both these guys putting out a lot of energy in this fight. Gritty, grinding, tough.
Full mount achieved by Beneducci, but the clock's his biggest enemy. How do you have it after 10 minutes?
Right now, I have it in a position where Kenny Rivera is down 2 rounds to 0, and he needs to do something big to win this fight.
Right, when you're holding that half-ass Kimura when he has the single, elbow his fucking head with your forearm. Those little rabbit punches are not going to stop him. Throw the elbow, right? Travis Brown, Josh Barnett, throw the fucking elbow, okay?
He's good, he's
Same
good.
on the Brown, they're throwing elbows to his head, okay? 10-8 round, you make me a
Don't
lot
accept
happier
the
than
position
10-9
on the
round
cage.
if we don't take
You
it.
got to get the on the hook.
5 minutes. All this fucking work. 5 minutes to win this fucking fight.
This is all you, bro. 5 minutes of hell, brother.
Chael P. Son of the American Gangster coming out of that big lift that gets you into Madison Square Garden. This is the type of arena that Chael was meant for.
And Lyoto Machida also feeling that New York Knicks love.
Everybody getting jerseys. Where's ours?
We got to go to New Jersey. This is the third and final round. Kenny Rivera in the blue gloves, John Beneducci in the red gloves. Some scintillating scrambles, reversals in that second round, and immediately look at where the sweep was. Beneducci using it as a decoy to secure this takedown.
Got himself close. That's where he wants to be in the fight. Everything that John Beneducci's been doing in this fight has been effective. When he has put his mind to getting to a position, he has gotten there.
Rivera controlling Beneducci's posture, delivering some strikes from the bottom, working the closed guard.
Don't grab the fence.
And all these little punches and stuff that you're seeing, this is just volume. It's not doing damage to Kenny Rivera, but it's showing, you know what, I'm controlling the position, I'm landing these little strikes, and if Kenny Rivera can't get himself up from this, it's just going to be a long round, and he ends up eventually losing.
Don't grab the fence.
Then a dude should think about posturing up, start to create space so you can land big, powerful shots that can end the fight for you. There you go.
Let's go, guys. Got to work the finish.
Rivera using that cage, moving his position, and the dude's putting his head right back towards that cage. He knows he's got positional ability to keep Rivera where he wants. That's why his head is usually moving towards the chin area of Kenny Rivera. He's putting his forehead towards the chin, pushing Kenny Rivera's head, keeping him weak on the bottom by pushing his head away.
Rivera desperately trying to reverse fortunes here in the final round. Beneducci looking to improve his position somehow. Is past the midway point of this final round in the Bellator featherweight division.
Beneducci was utilizing that arm lace, got a couple of good shots in there by bringing his knee over that arm to keep it in place. Kenny Rivera's got to find a way out of this position. What you're seeing right now, you've got Beneducci using that hip right on top. He can't get his hooks in. Just going to keep pressure down on the lower back of Kenny Rivera, keep him in place, and just do little shots or go for the submission by getting the neck.
Rivera getting to his feet. Beneducci trying to get his back, trying to get those hooks in, has one hook in momentarily. Rivera defending well.
Beneducci holding his arms in what we call a seatbelt position, under the arm, around the neck, just with a gable grip. It's a good way of controlling position, but nothing is there as far as doing damage or coming close to a submission against his opponent.
Under a minute left in the fight.
Kenny Rivera trying to peel those hands away. You see Beneducci lacing that leg through. That's how Renzo Gracie got his win in his last fight. Going back to his victory he just had. Beautiful leg lace to a takedown to the submission. Beneducci's utilizing the position against the fence just to grind it out.
Beneducci with a knee strike to the calf, and Rivera even able to block that. Well, not anymore now. A couple of short knee strikes and another. 15 seconds left in this featherweight contest. Grueling, gritty affair between John Beneducci and Kenny Rivera, and the judges will render the verdict. How do you have it on your unofficial scorecard, John?
There's no doubt in my mind John Beneducci won this fight. If it goes any other way, I have no idea what I'm looking at.
This is MMA. It could definitely go any other way. We cry, right? We're laughing. If we don't laugh, we cry, John.
It is exactly it, because sometimes you just look and go, what in the world just happened?
Here's Michael C. Williams.
You're all furry and shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your judges' scorecards. Your first judge, Marcel Varela, scores the fight 30-26, while judges David Torelli and Derek Cleary both see the fight the same 30-27. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, John the Manhead Beneducci.
John Beneducci improves his Bellator record to 1-1 with the unanimous decision win over Kenny Rivera. Let's go back to Jay Glazer.
All right, we're less than an hour from our main card starting right here on Dazn. That card will be capped by one of our two main events. It is the last fight of that bracket of the welterweight Grand Prix. The winner of Neiman Gracie, Rory McDonald, will fight Douglas Lima in the final to get an extra $1 million for whoever the winner of that tournament is. But guys, Neiman Gracie, we're going to start with him, the challenger for the welterweight championship of the world. You are a jiu-jitsu specialist. Obviously the Gracie name, we all know it, but Neiman Gracie, what makes his jiu-jitsu so much next level?
What makes Neiman's jiu-jitsu so next level is the fact that he's relentless with it. You saw in the Ed Ruth fight, he just chained his submission attacks together, attack after attack after attack, until he got it. He goes after the finish. But most importantly, he trusts in his jiu-jitsu 100%. In the locker room, before I walked out for my Bellator Hawaii fight, he stopped me and he's like, Lima, trust in your jiu-jitsu, trust in it. So I know that he trusts, yes, it was amazing. He trusts in his ground game, he's relentless, and he chains together his submission flawlessly.
There's so many things that he can do, but the one thing that people don't give him credit for is his upper body takedowns. He's not someone that just goes out there and fishes for the double legs. He doesn't force the takedown. He punches his way into the clinch, gets to the upper body locks, presses you to the fence, tries to get the takedown there. That's where I think he's dangerous, and I think that's where that's a good way for him to win the fight today.
Yeah, he doesn't flow, he bullies, which he's going to need against Rory McDonald. Moro Big John, the prelims roll on.
All right, time for another catchweight contest between Castria Gemma and Whitney Jean-Francois.
5'11" to 6 foot, but you can see a huge reach advantage for Francois in this against Gemma.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
From New York, Bellator 222 now presents 3 5-minute rounds at a catch weight of 165 pounds. Introducing the blue corner first at 6 foot, weighing in 163.8 pounds. His professional record 2-6-1. He fights out of Brooklyn, New York. Whitney "the Bully" Jean-Francois. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 164.6 pounds. His professional record 2-3 from Greenwich, Connecticut, Castria Slaughterhouse Gemma. And the referee in charge, Dan Mergliato.
Dan Mergliato will oversee this 165-pound catchweight affair.
All right, so you ready? You ready? Let's go, fight.
Bell in round one. Castria Gemma in the red gloves. Whitney Jean-Francois in the blue. And a quick exchange and takedown here employed by Jean-Francois after Gemma went for that high-impact offense.
Very surprised to see Jean-Francois take the fight to the ground, because normally he's the guy that likes to keep a fight standing and try to knock his opponent out. took the fight to the ground, ended up in guard, and right now hasn't done anything to show that he's going to be effective from that position. He's kind of waiting, hitting little shots, nothing special right now.
Francois trains with Terry Gold, a BJJ black belt. Marcio Bittencourt and also Aldo Ardenville. He's a judo black belt and a BJJ purple belt and a half guard now of Gemma.
From half guard, needs to posture up, start landing big shots. He's got the power. He is a strong individual. Can he do damage from this position? Gemma from an open guard, which is smart. And he keeps on getting that left underhook, but he can't seem to get his legs out from there. Now he's up.
The knee rattles Gemma. Gemma comes back with a left hook. And the southpaw Gemma. Spinning heel kick, inside low kick by Francois. Lead right hand, level change, looking for the takedown.
You hear that one. Francois needs to be careful with where his strikes are going right now. Sometimes almost hitting him with a knee on the ground to the head.
Takedown by Francois into half guard. Got immediately controlling posture.
Francois has the ability to pass this guard right now if he wants. Slide that leg up. Slice it through the middle. It's an open guard.
Short slashing elbow strikes by Francois. And Gemma able to again get back to his feet. Francois was unable to take advantage of that open guard. And there's the time clock knee. Gemma gets hit with a left hand.
It'll be interesting to see if Francois can keep this pace up, because he's been going after Gemma and he's been using a lot of energy trying to land heavy, hard shots. Can he continue to do that? Nice takedown
by Jean-Francois. Inside control. Looking to mount, and Gemma, cognizant of that, has that left knee up, but he's eating some, well, blocking most of these elbow strikes.
Again, good position inside control, but he's not being heavy here right now. He needs to think about controlling it again. You see Gemma getting that underhook, being able to get himself away from Francois and get himself back to his feet.
Jean-Francois 2-6-1 with 2 knockouts, and there Gemma comes back with another left hand. Doubles over. Jean-Francois has Jean-Francois in trouble.
This is what I was talking about, burning all that energy. He's doing a lot of things, trying to get get Gemma out of the fight. But if it doesn't happen,
lateral drop there by Jean-Francois. And still does not try to go to full mount.
Nope. It was kind of sliding there a little bit. Now let's go back to half guard. A lot of positional control, not a lot of damage done by Jean-Francois in this round, even though he's definitely winning it.
Here you go. You gotta work. It's 10 seconds, end it. Here you go. Really work. Pound his face.
Break. Clean, nice strike, no strikes.
Unofficial scorecard reads.
Well, just like I just said, right now, first round, Jean-Francois 10, Gemma 9.
Why is that?
Because of what you just saw and I said as far as positional control. Look at Jean-Francois went after him. He was trying to do things in the fight. He landed some shots. The knee was nice, but didn't do a whole lot.
Awareness, though, with his position
is horrible.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's horrible, and that's the problem, is he's getting out of control. You've got to be in control during a fight. When you're seeing Castro Algema just continually getting an underhook to get himself up out of those positions, it's telling you someone's not covering all the bases they need to cover to be successful.
Come on, right, you're letting your shit go. Kaz, hold the fucking range. That's it. Let's go.
Ray Longo making his, punctuating his point.
Ray does that in a special way.
Okay. All right, second round. You ready? You ready, sir? Let's go, gentlemen.
Bell in round 2. Castro Gemma in the red gloves. Winnie Jean-Francois in the blue. Inside low kick and a right hand by Jean-Francois. Inside low kick by Gemma closes the distance and is taken down for his efforts. Into side control yet again.
Yet again, and in a very good position where he can utilize the cage to keep Gemma there. But does he do the right thing? We'll see.
Jean-Francois, a BJJ purple belt. John.
Well, you know, if you're a BJJ purple belt, you have retained a position where you should know how to position your body. You should know how to create a pressure. You should know how to stop someone from getting an underhook. And in a lot of things in this fight, we haven't seen that.
You gotta move. You gotta work. Don't just land. I'm gonna work.
Right now, you're not seeing Whitney Jean-Francois do anything as far as trying to go for a submission. Right now, he's in a very good position where he has a lot of things open to him, but he's not going.
Remember earlier in the night when we talked about being in full mount and we got
exactly
this is dominant position where you might think the referee would stand him up, even though he is in a dominant position.
There you go with that underhook. Look at him getting that underhook in place. Good job right there by Jean-Francois to stop that positioning, keep him against the cage. He needs to start opening up and thinking about, I need to damage my opponent. I cannot just get position and control.
Come up back to his feet, left uppercut. Southpaw as Winnie Jean-Francois absorbs that outside leg kick. Gemma closes the distance, but again, it's Jean-Francois who manages to muscle Gemma to the cage.
And a lot of what we're seeing is this is almost a reflection of what we saw with Erin Pico against Adam Borsch. Erin Pico had a lot of great wrestling, a lot of great control, but wasn't able to damage Erin Borsch, and all it took was one strike to change the entire complexion of that fight.
Hey John, Whitney Jean-Francois back in side control.
Amazing, I didn't think he would ever get there.
Elbow straight to the face.
Gemma, desperate to scramble, reverses it, and he has the back and immediately sinks in a hook, looking to flatten out Winnie Jean-Francois, and in different ways, similar to Boris Piko, in the way that Gemma's now exploding with offense from the back with 2 hooks in.
Right now, go out. Once you have Francois turning his back, you should take those hips and drive those hips down.
Don't call it a comeback. Castria Gemma defeats Whitney Jean-Francois.
Okay. Sure. Hey, get off. Hey, what about me?
And I think what we really saw here was not that Castro had all of a sudden this great burst of skill and technique comparatively. I think we saw Jean-Francois start to run out of gas. And when the lungs started to burn, that's when the problems began. Here's where he's got his back. He's opening up with shots. You see Francois turning towards him, realizing I don't want to have this guy mounted on me, turns away, and it's really a matter of, I think, fatigue started to set in. And when you are a fatigued fighter, it is very difficult to make the right decisions. Great job once. He got the back. Castria Gemma opening up, This was the difference. When you saw Francois on top, he was closing distance and not landing any good shots. At least Gemma postured up, went after him, and got the finish.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes to an end inside the Bellator cage officially. 3 minutes, 17 seconds into round number 2. The winner by TKO Castria, Slaughterhouse Gemma.
Let's go back to the fight desk.
All right, thanks, Mauro. Again, our night tonight, our main card will be highlighted. Rory McDonald putting the welterweight championship of the world on the line against Neiman Gracie. We just talked about Neiman Gracie. We know about Rory when he's on. Last time we saw him in the cage, he won, but he talked about maybe him being off a little bit. Do you think he's kind of rebounded between the ears?
What does this mean, Jay? I don't give a...
Talking about the roommates in my head, what about his?
Simply, honestly, I think he's back on track. He's a true champion, like he had said in a couple interviews. He's been through a lot in his last, year or so. He has 2 kids now, married, bought another house. All these ideas that are going through his head. He's ready for this fight. I think the understanding that the $1 million is going to come in handy too.
Yeah, and a lot of people are focusing on his mental state coming into this fight, but for somebody who just fought 5 weeks ago, I was fought on the San Jose card with him. Okay, I'm thinking more about his physical side. Okay, I haven't even been in the gym since my fight, and I only fought 2 rounds. He was in a 5-round battle, war with Fitch. So physically, I'm thinking, is his body going to be ready for this?
Well, again, that is our final fight of the evening, our last prelim coming up right now.
Yes, the 12th and final prelim at Bellator 222, the flyweights in action. Brandon Medina versus Brandon Polker. My prediction, Brandon wins.
23 years of age compared to 36, and a big reach advantage for the pro debut of Brandon Medina.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Here, Bellator 222, it's time now for the final prelim of the evening. 3 5-minute rounds in the flyweight division. First, fighting out of the blue corner at 5'7", weighing in 126 pounds. His professional record early on stands at 1-2. He fights out of Saratoga Springs, New York, presenting Brandon Polker. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'7", weighing in 124.8 pounds. Tonight, he makes his professional debut fighting out of the Bronx, New York, Brandon B-52 Medina. And the referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
Kevin McDonald refereed 3 5-minute rounds scheduled in the Bellator MMA flyweight division.
Ready to fight? Ready to fight? Let's go.
Bell round 1, Brandon Medina, red gloves. Brandon Polker in the blue gloves. Switching to southpaw stance, filling out process in the early seconds of the first round. Medina launches a kick block. Left hand, caught him in the knee. Polker looking for the takedown, well defended by Medina. Underhook, pummeling, and no, the perseverance of Polker looking for that signal.
Great job by Medina to take that as he was trying to run the pipe. Got himself in position. Polker sticks with it and gets his takedown.
Close guard now. Medina, Polker fighting out of Saratoga Springs, New York.
Medina asked to take a look at what he just saw in the stand-up from Brandon Polker and how he was shying away from the strikes that Brandon Medina was throwing. Saying, look, I got to get this fight back to that position. I see I have an advantage. I don't want to stay on my back.
Polker wrestling from the time he was 5 all through high school. Coached wrestling for 5 years after high school, and the college he attended after high school didn't have wrestling. So after wrestling, he got into jiu-jitsu back in 2008.
Back his head.
And Polker looking for his first win in Bellator after 2 losses. Medina, his professional MMA debut.
One of the quotes he said was, "I need this win as much as I need to breathe." I don't know if it's quite that serious. You see the overhook by Brandon Medina on Polker's arm. That's keeping him down. That's keeping him in a position where he's not able to posture in any way. But it takes strength on Medina's part to keep that. Medina working from an open guard. That's a good thing because he can be offensive instead of having that closed guard that he started with. But he needs to start to switch the angle, start to create an angle. But Polker is very big into that head position and keeping himself square with Medina. Medina has a very good defensive guard, Mauro, and he's utilizing it, but he's got to think, you know, if I'm just going to be defensive and doing that right there, that's one of the worst things that I see guys do. When they triangle the body from the bottom in guard, you are locking yourself into that position, keeping that guy on top of you.
Referee Kevin McDonald asking for action.
Stop! Come on, up.
It's a good stand-up by Kevin McDonald because he's got a guy on top in Brandon Polker who's controlling but not doing anything to finish the fight.
There's a left hand by Polker, backing up Medina. Medina with the kick and the jumping knee.
And that right there just shows Medina being that pro debut. He saw that he had hurt Polker and he rushes to it. When you hurt someone, you do have time to sit there and look and say, what's the best way to attack?
Medina with the takedown on Polker.
He got a bit of a guillotine attempt right here.
Polker looking for that guillotine.
It's tight right now. He's trying to get himself through it. He's in trouble.
And there's the tap, and Brandon Polker submits Brandon Medina. Polker picks up his first win under the Bellator MMA banner. And his first fight since August of 2017. A victorious one for Brandon Polker, spoiling the professional MMA debut of Brandon Medina.
4:33, round one, tap to guillotine.
Here's the finish that you see. What happened in this was you had Brandon Medina had hurt Polker, and then he went running after him and put himself in a bad position. Polker gets that half guard guillotine choke in place. It's too tight, and he gets his win.
We did it, baby. We did that. You're fucking scary. You're scary. Good job. Good job, man. Thank you. Hey, we did it, baby.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes to an end officially. 4 minutes, 33 seconds into round number one. The tap comes by way of a guillotine. The winner by submission, Brandon Polker.
So that wraps up the dozen preliminary bouts here as part of Bellator 222 at Madison Square Garden. Coming up at the top of the hour, streaming exclusively on Dazn. It is Bellator 222 featuring 2 championship fights. We'll talk to you then.
I'm in the right place.
What an incredible fight.
I believe I always had a fire inside me. To be a champion, you know?
Man, this is either going to be a sweet highlight knockout or a grindy decision. I'm kind of leaning towards Chael on this one, to be honest. I think Machida does definitely have that chance to score that KO, but Chael's wrestling is always good, and you know what? He's looking better and better as he gets older, which is insane.
Sonnen and Machida. I'm gonna have to go with the wrestler in this one. It's hard for me to go against the wrestlers, so I'll take Sonnen in this one, and it's strictly just going with the good wrestlers.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Machida, the Dragon. So Chael has an incredible ability to smother people and beat them like they owe him money. And Machida is this enigma that you just cannot imagine until you fought him, and he's so hard to take down. He moves around in this mysterious fashion, just kind of you know, very light on his, very light on his feet, and then he'll charge forward with a great, you know, 1-2 or 1-2-3, and he just knocks guys out.
I'm gonna say Machida because I've been watching The Karate Kid. Have you guys seen Cobra Kai? Oh my gosh, I love that series. It's like the best series ever. It gets me all excited about karate.
I think Chael. I think Chael's gonna wrestle Lyoto. Yeah.
Chael, how are you?
Robin, I'm great, thank you.
Of
How's
course.
everything?
Things are good. Things are good. You are great.
Yes.
Yes. Are you the main event? I think you're the main event.
Main event, they're going to close the show with Gracie versus McDonald for the world
But you are
title.
really the main event.
Well, I am the star attraction, but the main event is whoever goes last. I got to give them their due.
Mm-hmm. It's true. How's the Legends ass-kicking tour going?
Well, you know, the bus is still rolling down the road here, so, you know, we got another stop and we'll move on to the next one. But, I mean, I'm enjoying myself. They could be legends or not. I mean it as a compliment to them, but it really just means they're old.
You're old.
No, that is not true. I am a young man, largely because of steroids and growth hormone. But the point is this. Let me show you something, Robin. Here's the difference in me and Machida. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
I did.
I threw 6 punches and a kick. That's the speed difference. That's the difference between me and Machida. 40 years old. If I told my father I was going to fight a 40-year-old man, he'd punish me. He'd ground me and say, Jay, you got to get into church. I haven't raised you right. You're going to stay home tonight. I'm going to beat up a 40-year-old man.
But you're a 40-year-old man.
No. 42 years young. There's a big difference.
I see. I don't see.
7 punches and a kick that time.
I saw 2. And this is what I do for a living.
That's probably how many you saw.
I analyze martial arts for a living.
Well, you better slow the tape down. Better get in the editing room.
I'm gonna
like old Bruce Lee film.
Can you guys save that? And I will take a look at that later, and we will see. I will send you a message if indeed there were. How many punches?
7 and a kick.
You said
right over
6.
your head. No, that was the first one. Oh, shit. Thrown 2 combinations since I've been here.
That's true.
Let's talk about the fight. Let's talk about the guard. Where do you want to go? We can go anywhere you want. You want to talk about my fight?
Yeah, let's talk about your fight. You know you fascinate me, and you fascinate many people. That's part of what
You're a man of good taste, Robin, I must tell you.
That is part of what it is to be Chael Sonnen. I see you're confident, you're having fun, you make jokes, but you must be nervous when you fight a professional athlete in a cage.
Yeah, nervous would be an interesting word, but I think that's part of it. I've always tried to identify the emotion, and I've always failed, because it's not just nerves, it's not just excitement, it's not just fear. There's a relief involved that the event is finally here. The training's behind you. The weigh-in is behind you. But it all kind of comes into one. So, yeah, I would not make believe that it wasn't a stressful situation. But I also want to pretend I don't enjoy it. I do.
Is it fair to say that some nights you are bang on and other nights you are not? You are flat. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah. I don't know that just me, but yes, as an athlete as a whole, yeah, you'll have better days than other. Sometimes you have them in the practice room and go, oh no, I wish that would have been the fight. You know, everything was so on today, but you'll have the other ways too and go, ooh, thank goodness that wasn't the fight. I mean, yeah, that's a real thing where you try to peak, and you try to do things right, and you try to get the right amount of sleep, and then you need a little bit of luck that you're not injured or segment. There's a few things that come into it. But yes, to say that I personally have had performances where, boy, I wish I could take that back, for sure.
You and I have talked about this before. The agreement is Friday night at Madison Square Garden. It's not, oh, maybe next week I'd fight better, or last week. It's only that time.
That's right.
That's part of its beauty.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, when guys say, you know, I was flat or I was hurt or I never know why they say it. I believe you, I don't, but what's the difference? The agreement was who is better at a very specific location, a very specific time, in a specific weight class, under a specific rule set.
who gives a damn what the variables are? One guy, it was better than the other guy in that environment, and that's what you agreed on.
It's true. Are you certain you are faster than Machida? Are you certain of this?
I'd be surprised if he was faster. I would be very surprised if he was quicker than me, but I think he's fast.
And the
I'm
goal.
the fastest white man alive. That's a true story.
Is that true?
That's true. That's verified.
It's been verified by who?
My father. Told me when I
Who
was 9 years
verified
old.
him?
Oh no, he was a man of honor. You could trust my old man.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. You're a man of honor.
Sure.
Always?
Yeah.
I sensed hesitation.
Well, what do you mean? I mean, you're a man of honor. What do you mean by that? You
I don't know.
You can trust me with your wallet? Is that what you're asking me? Sure.
And I do believe that is true.
For sure.
So let's talk briefly a little more about the fight. Actually, no, left turn. Justin Bieber said he wants to fight
Tom Cruise. That is a left turn, but I like it.
Yeah. Does that excite you, that idea?
I'd watch that fight. Yeah, I mean, I would watch that fight. Yeah, Tom Cruise was a little bit old. I think maybe if he would have gone after somebody else, 56, but Bieber is either 26 or 25.
Right.
So I don't think they could sanction that fight. You know, Tom Cruise is going to have to respond in some fashion, though. I mean,
does he have to?
Yes, even if they have
Isn't
to fight
no
in the
response
media.
a response?
In some ways. In some ways it is, but I would imagine Tom Cruise is going to have to deal with this in some way. You know, if he's even seen it. I don't know if you hear the stories in Tom Cruise and they're true, that he doesn't even, get internet or a newspaper each day. So, but yes, if I'm being fair with you, I get a kick out of that. There used to be something called celebrity boxing, and it was silly, and I'm not saying the skills were there, but yeah, I enjoyed that.
I think I would analyze it. I would love to
Sure,
commentate
yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
I'd
All
love
of a
to see your
sudden,
breakdown of that. Yeah.
There'd be a lot of real sloppy binks, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
But you'd have footage to do that because, Bieber's got some stuff out where he was training with Mayweather, so it was some bag work, but I remember seeing that. And then you could grab, sequences from Tom Cruise movies. You'd have a great breakdown.
I think I'll do that.
Yes.
Thank you for that. That is
That'd be fun.
You've given me some great advice over the years, but
That's true.
This
That's got to be right up there, though.
This is right up there. This is right up there. How should we wrap this?
I don't know. What do you want to do? Rocks, paper, scissors? You want to arm wrestle?
Sure.
You want to throw
Rock,
you want
paper,
to leg
scissors.
wrestle?
Yes.
Let's do leg wrestling.
Okay.
Nobody does leg wrestling anymore. Do you know how?
Yes, I do.
1, 2, 3,
yeah,
and then
I do.
it's on.
I do.
All right, no
I know
excuses.
exactly how to do this. Okay.
And then do we even say goodbye, or this is the goodbye?
This is the goodbye.
All right, when I send you tumbling that way, the cameras just go to black, fade the credits.
I'll say enjoy the hostilities, my friends.
Okay.
We lock here?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
No, gotcha. Come on.
Enjoy the hostilities, my friend. Thank
You
you.
did it.
I did
You
it.
stayed on cue. Respect.
Yeah. My friends, the walk to the cage to compete in a mixed martial arts fight is one of the most psychologically, physiologically, and emotionally intense experiences a human being can have. What does it really feel like? Join me. Let's talk the walk. All right, Taiwan Claxton, thank you for talking the walk with me.
No worries.
What is this feeling like? Where are we? What's about to happen here for you?
Getting ready to go to battle. It's an amazing feeling. It's hard to really describe, but think about your first time doing anything. It feels like a first time every single time. So it's one of those highs. It's one of those adrenaline highs. Almost feels like a drug high before you step out there. So right before you walk up these stairs, it's it's all mental. You just tell yourself, I got this. I'm born for this.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this.
Well, you gotta be ready.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can't pretend you're ready. You
Absolutely.
can't lie to yourself here.
You can't.
No. This is the truth right here.
Every time I step right here on these stairs, I know that I'm ready. I'm prepared. I'm ready to go to war.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Stage.
Stage.
All your pro fights have been in Bellator.
Yeah.
Big show, like right off the top.
Right off the bat. Yeah. Absolutely.
Take a look at this. You're not gonna look at this on fight night, right?
No.
Like you will not be seeing that. How's it look?
Looks good.
You like
Looks
it?
like I did some halfway decent work so far in this career.
Yeah. But you will not be even feeling that or sensing that at all on Saturday night. You can't take
No.
your eyes off that.
Nope. Yeah, that's dope.
That's dope. But,
That's dope.
So that's what everyone else is gonna see.
Right.
This is what you're gonna see.
Exactly.
How's it feel up here?
Feels good. You know, I hear it in my mind already. J. Cole Middle Child is playing and I'm walking out. This is where one way that I mentally prepare for my fights is I choose my walkout song months beforehand. And, you know, anytime I have some downtime in between coding, I'll put on my beats and I'm going. You know, I have that song.
Focus in.
And I'm visualizing walking to the cage. You know, I'm visualizing the fans. I'm visualizing, you know, stepping into the cage. So once I get up here and I hear my walkout song, you know, it's go time. You know, it's time to have a good time.
And you've rehearsed that in your mind many times
Multiple
in the lead up.
times, yeah, absolutely. Repetition is key, right?
Yeah, let's go. You're a thoughtful guy. You're a truthful guy.
Yeah.
You feel a tiny bit even right now? You feel just a tiny bit right now?
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. You know, the red carpet, the barriers, you got the lights going. You know, it's time to go to work. I haven't felt like, you know, all the excitement and all the nerves and everything else. But right now I'm feeling them. Right now I'm feeling them and there's no people here. So, you know, once the people get here, you know, it's go time. It's go time.
In the hours before you get your hands wrapped, you're gonna take this walk a couple times?
Absolutely. Go inside the cage, get a feel, get my motion, you know, just kind of get in my groove, get ready to go. Relaxed.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah, that's a weird word to use. Because for most people, they're not going to wrap their minds around the idea that you can possibly be relaxed here.
Right. The more relaxed you are, the less clouded your judgment is. And I think that having good unclouded judgment is key to going out there and really opening up, you know, opening up my offense, opening up the flows, just being confident enough to go in there and say, hey, you want to bite down? Let's bite down. You know, it's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, it is that simple, but it ain't that simple either. You know?
I think that if you overthink it, that's when you get in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, if you go in there and you say, hey, I got 15 minutes, mano y mano, let's throw down, that's what you get, you know? You just have to before the first punch is thrown, before the first body contact is made, I think that you just have to reassure yourself that I'm built for this.
Yeah.
That's my line. I'm built for this. This is what I do. Let's have fun.
Yeah, it really is an intense couple moments here as you walk down. But this can happen super fast, right? Like you can just, you know, walk down here in 30 seconds. You can you can run down here. How do you like to do it?
I think it all depends on the music. You know, it all depends on the music and on the vibe and how I'm feeling. But I think that for the most part, I'm a stroller. You know, I bounce a little bit, touch my glove, make sure, you know, the leather feels right. I can feel the knuckle piercing through the glove. You know, just those little key things. Feel the strength in my hands and walk down.
Those things sort of make you present in the moment too, don't they?
Oh, real quick. The second you hear leather, you're like, we gotta fight.
That's right. In the moments in there, this is hard to explain for a lot of people, but you are not thinking there, right? You have programmed your brain to behave the way you want it to behave in these moments if you're free to do so. Is that accurate?
Pretty much. You know, you go on autopilot, but you have to be there just enough to make adjustments. You know, if that makes sense?
Yes.
You can't overthink. You know, you overthink, now it's like, that's when you see both guys, like,
hesitating.
Scared to go.
Yeah, right.
You know, so you go in there and you're like, all right, one bounce. Let me find my distance. Let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go.
That's
and,
right.
you know, the first piece of contact for me, it's like, we're in a fight, you know. Whether you hit me, I hit you, you grab me, I grab you. You know, the first time you feel it, you're like, let's do this. Let's go to war.
And that's what we came here to do.
Absolutely.
You know, as ridiculous as it sounds, you want to get in here?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. So what are you doing here? Like when you get in here, what's this feeling like?
Feel great. I like to feel the cage, feel the people. We're moving a little bit. You know, one full circle around. I feel it now. I get, you know, right here in front of my corners, look up at my coaches. I get a few bounces in, looking over at him.
When do you look at him?
right away. It's time to go. Let's do it. That's it. Stare at him. They announce him. I do my thing. I talk to my coaches. You know, let's do it. They start to announce me. I just give them that look. I'm here. I'm here to stay. You got to move me. You're in the way. And it's on. It's on. Come in. I start to move. Let's see what you got. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you start
Feel
to
the
settle
distance.
into the feeling. You start
Absolutely.
to accept the feeling.
We're here. We're fighting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm under the lights. There's no more anticipation. There's no doubt left in my mind. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh man. Thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the hostilities, my friends.